don't want a god-tier ability and choose the worst talent instead? Welcome back, brave explorers of impossible worlds. We are excited to have you here to continue this odyssey together. Before we continue, everything you'll hear is pure fiction. So please don't try to replicate combat techniques at home. This wonderful story in all its rights belong to its brilliant original author. We are only the messengers of entertainment. Want another dose of adventure? Subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss a single chapter. And if you can't wait, our Patreon has exclusive surprises you'll love. Chapter 1, Transmigration is not rebirth. The sky was overcast, as if a downpour was imminent. On the school playground, thousands of high school students stood motionless, awaiting their fate. Everyone was tense. Except for Zhao Zheng. Looking at the students in their uniforms and feeling his own vibrant, youthful body, he couldn't help but smile with surprise and excitement. Have I been reborn, back to my student days in 2024? This is amazing, thank God I can relive my youth. This time, I'm going to live life to the fullest, make the most money, and date the prettiest girls. Zhao Zheng was incredibly excited. His current situation perfectly fit the description of rebirth. He had even started planning his path to triumphant return. For example, he would first become a plagiarist, copying popular novels and classic songs from the future to sell and earn his first pot of gold. With that money, he would buy BT coins and invest in highly profitable projects from the future. Or he could simply start his own business and create the internet giants that would succeed in the future. That's pretty much what the reborn characters in novels all do. Just as Zhao Zheng was lost in thought, the conversation of a few students nearby caught his attention. Did you hear? Yesterday, someone from number 2 high school got a Logia-type devil fruit in the Holy Land and was immediately admitted to Peking University. I know, it's on the news. The mayor personally visited his home to offer his congratulations and even gave him a bonus. It's like a crow turning into a phoenix. I'm so envious. I hope I can get a Logia-type devil fruit today. Damn. Who's pissing? Wake him up, you're really dreaming. Logia-type devil fruits only appear a few times a year. Getting even a regular Paramecia type is pretty good. Hey. Tell me, which is better, devil fruits or extraordinary bloodlines? Isn't this a settled matter? Aside from a few top-tier extraordinary bloodlines, most have limited potential. Devil fruits are different. Even Paramecia types have outstanding abilities, not to mention the invincible Logia types and the even fewer mythical Zoan types. God help me get an extraordinary opportunity in the Holy Land. My request isn't high, even just a super soldier serum would be fine. Me too, just give me a Spider-Man gene. My humanities are so bad, I'll never get into university. Becoming a superhuman is my only way out. Hearing this conversation, Zhao Zheng was completely dumbfounded. Who am I? Where am I? What are they talking about? Although he could understand every single word these students said, it all felt so awkward when put together. What happened to being reborn? Why are these strange things popping up? Devil fruits? Superhuman bloodlines? And super soldier serum? Aren't these things from movies and anime? The devil fruits they're talking about must be from One Piece, right? As for superhuman bloodlines, super soldier serum, and Spider-Man genes, are they from American comics? These things are all fantasy creations from Earth. How did they appear in the real world? Zhao Zheng was utterly confused. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through his brain, followed by intense dizziness, causing him to groan and collapse to the ground. Fragments of relatively unfamiliar memories began to surface in his mind, like a slideshow. His unusual behavior also attracted the attention of his classmates. Holy crap, someone fainted. Old Zhao? Old Zhao, there's no sunlight. How could he faint like that? He's too weak. Stop talking nonsense. Get him to the infirmary right away. The voices of his classmates slowly brought Zhao Zheng back to his senses. He forced himself to get up and quickly said, I'm fine. A classmate with a face full of acne asked with concern, Old Zhao, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? No. Zhao Zheng gave a forced smile and said, I guess I was too excited thinking about entering the Holy Land today, so I didn't sleep a wink last night. I was just too sleepy and felt dizzy for a moment. Hearing this reason, the classmates around him nodded in agreement. In fact, they hadn't slept well last night either, knowing they were going to enter the Holy Land today. Many of them had even taken sleeping pills to fall asleep. Because everyone only has one chance in their lifetime to enter the Holy Land. If one gains nothing, one will forever remain an ordinary person. And this world is full of dangers, making life precarious for ordinary people. Only by becoming extraordinary can one control their destiny. When Zhao Zheng stood up again, although outwardly he appeared normal, his heart was in turmoil, unable to find peace. He had just absorbed the memories of this body and finally understood that he hadn't been reborn, but had transmigrated. He had arrived in an unprecedented world. This world possessed extraordinary power. All humans, upon reaching adulthood, had a chance to enter the Holy Land. Hidden within the Holy Land were extraordinary opportunities, such as the most common devil fruits and extraordinary bloodlines. Obtaining either one within the Holy Land would allow one to embark on the path of pursuing extraordinary power. Furthermore, Zhao Zheng's earlier guess was correct. The devil fruits in the Holy Land were indeed the same as those in the Earth anime One Piece. Extraordinary bloodlines also originated from American comics, with both DC and Marvel having their own. However, this world lacked the relevant original works, so some things were unclear to everyone. Of course, this didn't matter. Because what one gains after entering the Holy Land depends entirely on luck. Even if Zhao Zheng knew these original texts, he couldn't use this to obtain the opportunities he desired. In fact, most people who enter the Holy Land gain nothing, only a minority obtain extraordinary opportunities. What a magical world, Zhao Zheng couldn't help but sigh. Then, filled with anticipation, he hoped to gain something in the Holy Land. A dozen minutes later, the teachers finally arrived, albeit late. The principal stood on the platform and began rambling. Today is your big day, and also the day our school has celebrated since its founding. I hope you all gain something from this upcoming trip to the Holy Land. Of course, those who don't obtain extraordinary opportunities shouldn't be discouraged. This world isn't just about extraordinary individuals. Talents in other fields are equally important. This speech was long and tedious, and no one listened to a single word. Indeed, this world isn't just about extraordinary individuals, most are ordinary people. Students who don't obtain extraordinary opportunities can still take the college entrance exam, go to university, and after graduation, become servants in society. Those who obtain extraordinary opportunities can enter extraordinary universities without taking the college entrance examination. Furthermore, being an extraordinary person is a highly sought-after and popular profession in today's society, and the social status of extraordinary individuals is extremely high. In fact, when an extraordinary person's strength reaches a certain level, they can even obtain unimaginable privileges. Under such circumstances, who wouldn't want to become an extraordinary person? Chapter 2 Holy Land Extraordinary. After the principal stepped down, a group of people in uniforms hurriedly went up to set up the equipment. Zhao Zheng watched intently and discovered that the core of the equipment was actually a mysterious purple crystal. When the purple crystal was charged with electricity, it immediately emitted a beam of light, which then formed something resembling a space-time wormhole in the void, quite magical. However, everyone present seemed unfazed. His memories told Zhao Zheng that the purple crystal was called the sacred crystal by humans, supposedly fallen from outer space 100 years ago. And that space-time wormhole was the passage into the Holy Land. Not far to the left, reporters wearing badges from the local television station were adjusting their filming equipment. To the right were the leadership seats, where many members of the admissions offices from extraordinary universities sat. Once they discovered a student had obtained a good extraordinary opportunity, these admissions officers from various universities would rush to recruit them. Once everything was ready, the trip to the Holy Land officially began. A vice principal who bore a striking resemblance to the abbot Mijashida stepped onto the stage, holding a list, and announced into the microphone, "Let's start with Zhang Minghong from Class 1 of Senior 3. A boy went up. He looked extremely nervous, his legs trembling, and he was unsteady on his feet. Instead of comforting or encouraging him, the vice principal pointed to the entrance and urged, "Don't dawdle, go in." The boy named Zhang Minghong gritted his teeth and stepped into the space-time wormhole. His figure vanished instantly, only to reappear 2 seconds later, standing at the edge of the wormhole's exit. The vice principal, seeing his empty hands, knew his journey to the sacred site had failed, and he hadn't gained any extraordinary opportunities. "Alright, you can go now. Go back and study hard for the college entrance exam." Zhang Minghong, with a mournful face, dejectedly left the stage. Next, Wu Jingjing, a girl went up. Although this girl was much calmer than Zhang Minghong, she also achieved nothing and ultimately left the stage in tears. It seems that entering the Holy Land to seek extraordinary opportunities truly depends entirely on luck. not on individual performance. Next, Wang Zhao, the vice principal, like a cold machine, kept reading the names on the list. The students whose names were called nervously went up to the stage. However, the probability of obtaining extraordinary opportunities was indeed extremely low. 7 students in a row returned empty-handed. The homeroom teacher of Class 1, Grade 12, was ashen-faced. Finally, after the 8th student went up, a change occurred. This student, named Hu Jun, stayed in the Holy Land for a full 5 seconds. When he came out, he had a crystal box in his hand, which faintly emitted a light. Seeing this, everyone's eyes widened immediately, and the camera from the nearby television station was also focused on Hu Jun. Even the vice principal's tone and expression changed. Hu Jun, what did you get? Hearing the vice principal's question, Hu Jun said with a mournful face, a mutant bloodline card with hedgehog abilities. Upon hearing this, everyone was greatly disappointed. After more than 100 years of research and observation, everyone knows that the extraordinary opportunities in the Holy Land are not all excellent. On the contrary, most are useless abilities. Whether it's extraordinary bloodlines or devil fruits, many possess useless abilities. The vice principal immediately said, the mutant bloodline with a hedgehog ability is useless. Even if you fuse with it, it might not be a good thing. You need to think carefully about the next one. The student named Hu Jun, carrying the crystal box, walked off the stage and returned to the line with a conflicted expression. The testing proceeded quickly. After all, each person entered the Holy Land and came out in a maximum of 5 seconds. At this speed, it was estimated that all the thousands of high school students present could be tested in just 2 hours. Class 1 of Senior 3 didn't perform well. Of the more than 100 students in the class, only 13 obtained extraordinary opportunities, and none of these 13 possessed excellent ones. The homeroom teacher of Class 1 of Senior 3 looked very grim. Next up is Class 2 of Senior 3, the vice principal said, turning a page on the list. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng's classmates all perked up, and Zhao Zheng himself showed an expectant expression. They were from Class 2 of Senior 3. Chen Hang. As the vice principal's voice fell, a spirited-looking young man immediately stepped forward and walked onto the platform. When Chen Hang emerged from the Holy Land space, he held a crystal box in his hand. He had successfully obtained an extraordinary opportunity. Chen Hang, what did you get? The vice principal asked hurriedly. Chen Hang opened the crystal box and saw a devil fruit inside. He excitedly exclaimed, "It's a Zoan-type devil fruit, the dog fruit, wolf mode." Upon hearing this, many gasps of surprise rippled through the audience. The homeroom teacher of Class 2 of Senior 3, as well as some school leaders, all showed delight. A century of research was enough for humanity to know which devil fruits had potential. Among Zoan-type devil fruits, generally speaking, devil fruits in the form of ferocious beasts are considered to have outstanding potential. Very good, the vice principal on the stage, known as the Extinction Master, rarely smiled, and his tone became much more polite. Chen Hang, you can go down and rest now. Next, before Chen Hang could even return to the group after stepping down from the stage, several university admissions officers rushed over to stop him, extending offers of admission. The surrounding students looked on with envy. That Chen Hang kid, he's got incredible luck. This guy is clearly a top student. How could he get such a great opportunity? Heaven is so unfair. I just saw that even the admissions office from Wuhan University went there. That's the top 5 university. I'm so envious. Chen Hang's example was a great start for Class 2, greatly boosting the morale of the entire class. However, the next dozen or so students all returned empty-handed, like a bucket of cold water, instantly extinguishing everyone's unrealistic fantasies. Everyone then realized that Chen Hang was just a special case. Next, Su Mingyao, a beautiful girl with fair skin, walked onto the stage, attracting the attention of many boys. Behind Zhao Zheng, a classmate's voice rang out, "Hey, old Zhao, your goddess is on stage. Guess if she can get the extraordinary opportunity." Hearing this, Zhao Zheng ignored him. The previous owner of this body had indeed been very fond of this girl named Su Mingyao, regarding her as a goddess, and had even secretly written her love letters. But that was all in the past. The current Zhao Zheng at most thought the girl was indeed very pretty. Soon, the results were announced on stage. Su Mingyao got nothing. Looking at her empty hands, the girl's pretty face turned pale, her eyes red, seemingly finding the result difficult to accept. Her pitiful appearance immediately made many admirers in the audience feel sorry for her. Next, the vice principal seemed heartless, completely unconcerned that Su Mingao was already crying, and continued reading the list. Zhao Zheng. Hearing his name, Zhao Zheng's spirits lifted. Finally, it was his turn. Chapter 3 Flame Fruit? Even a dog wouldn't eat that. As Zhao Zheng went on stage, he brushed past a beautiful Su Mingao. However, she didn't even look at him, treating him like he wasn't there. Of course, Zhao Zheng didn't care. He was more concerned with whether he could obtain a transcendent opportunity. With a nervous heart, he went on stage and, without hesitation, stepped into the space-time wormhole. The instant he entered the Holy Land, his consciousness arrived in a bizarre and fantastical world. Around him appeared many familiar figures, countless devil fruits, and other strange objects. They swam quickly past Zhao Zheng like fish in a river. Zhao Zheng knew these were all transcendent opportunities. So, he immediately reached out to grab them. Unexpectedly, he actually caught something. When Zhao Zheng's consciousness returned to his body, he found himself back in the real world, standing at the entrance of the Holy Land, and in his hands was a crystal box. Zhao Zheng, what kind of transcendent opportunity are you holding? The vice principal's voice brought Zhao Zheng back to his senses. Without even opening the crystal box, he could feel the information emanating from it. It was truly amazing. However, Zhao Zheng still opened the box, revealing a crimson devil fruit. It's a Logia-type devil fruit, the flame fruit, Zhao Zheng said. Upon hearing this, the entire audience gasped. Holy crap! It's a Logia-type devil fruit. Yesterday, our school had one, causing a city-wide sensation. I can't believe our school has one today. Our Logia-type devil fruit's becoming commonplace. Damn. This guy is too lucky. I'm so envious. Why wasn't I the one who got a Logia-type devil fruit? Zhao Zheng is going to be rich. The legendary flame fruit. Eating it grants the ability to control fire. I want one so badly. So far, everyone who has eaten a Logia-type devil fruit, as long as they don't die prematurely, will become a powerful figure in the future. This guy named Zhao Zheng from class 2 will probably be from a completely different world from us. Below the stage, thousands of students discussed animatedly, each looking at Zhao Zheng with envy, jealousy, and hatred, wishing they could kill him and take his place. On the stage, the school leaders, including the principal, were all incredibly excited. The teachers in charge of class 2, in particular, even stood up involuntarily. The fact that a student from the Department of Natural Sciences could appear in the school meant they, as teachers and leaders, would also gain significant political achievements. Furthermore, with the teacher-student bond intact, if Zhao Zheng succeeded in the future, all the teachers who had taught him would benefit. That was the reason for their excitement. Meanwhile, the admissions officers from various universities had already rushed out of their seats and were waiting nearby. They were just waiting for Zhao Zheng to step down from the stage so they could swarm him and vie for his attention. At this moment, Zhao Zheng had become the focus of the entire school, the center of everyone's attention. Even the usually cold and aloof vice principal was now beaming with enthusiasm, his gaze towards Zhao Zheng carrying a complex meaning. Congratulations, Zhao Zheng, on obtaining a Logia-type devil fruit. On behalf of the school, I wish you a bright future and smooth sailing on your path to extraordinary power. Such auspicious words are fine in private, but saying them in public, especially from a vice principal, feels a bit cheesy. However, the crowd present found it perfectly normal. If they had the chance to flatter a Logia-type devil fruit user, they would have said even more obsequious things. Because a Logia-type devil fruit user has unlimited potential and could even grow into a king-level powerhouse in the future. Zhao Zheng, you can go and rest now. Seeing Zhao Zheng seemingly lost in thought, the vice principal gently reminded him. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng picked up the box and walked off the stage. As for whether or not eating the devil fruit immediately would cause any accidents, like being stolen, no way. The crystal box wasn't just for storing extraordinary items, it was also a protective mechanism provided by the Holy Land. Unless Zhao Zheng gives it away voluntarily, anyone who dares to forcefully seize the crystal box will face a counterattack from its protective mechanism. It's said that the crystal box's counterattack is a terrifying curse. Furthermore, even if the crystal box is stolen against one's will, no one else can open it or obtain the extraordinary items inside. Even being coerced won't work. The crystal box's protective mechanism has its own set of judgment standards, capable of sensing the host's true intentions. Once someone uses special means to coerce the host into handing over the crystal box, it will self-destruct. This is why no one dares to steal someone else's extraordinary opportunity. If it were possible to steal or threaten at will, the major powers would have already kidnapped those barely adults. After Zhao Zheng stepped down, a group of university admissions officers immediately surrounded him. Zhao Zheng, I'm the director of admissions at Shanghai Martial Arts University. On behalf of the university, I welcome you, Zhao Zheng. I'm from Peking University. If you come to Peking University, not only will your tuition be waived, but you'll also receive generous scholarships. Zhenwu University needs a genius like you. Just name your price if you're willing to come. More than 20 admissions officers surrounded Zhao Zheng, chattering about the university's benefits and doing everything they could to win him over. This scene left Zhao Zheng speechless and numb. Other students, seeing Zhao Zheng being sought after by so many prestigious universities, were filled with envy. Some girls looked at Zhao Zheng with a different gaze. They were surprised to find that the previously unremarkable Zhao Zheng now seemed to shine like gold, his face exuding undeniable handsomeness. Dear teachers and leaders, please hear me out, Zhao Zheng said loudly. I never expected to obtain the flame fruit, nor did I consider which school I would attend. So, please give me some time to think it over. Besides, this is such a big matter, I need to go back and discuss it with my parents. His words made perfect sense. Although many admission staff wished they could grab Zhao Zheng on the spot, they knew such thoughts were just wishful thinking and readily agreed. Alright, Zhao Zheng, please consider it first. Here's my business card with my phone number. If you make a decision, call me, and I'll personally drive to pick you up. Zhao Zheng, this is my business card. The doors of True Martial University are always open for you. Everyone handed over their business cards before letting Zhao Zheng leave. At this moment, Zhao Zheng was actually a little bewildered. He hadn't expected to grab the flame fruit so easily in the Holy Land. Was the trip to the Holy Land far too easy? Why did so many people get nothing? Was this a perk for transmigrators? Looking at the flame fruit in his hand, Zhao Zheng hesitated, unsure whether to eat it. In his previous life on Earth, there was a saying, even dogs wouldn't eat the flame fruit. This saying arose because in the later stages of the One Piece world, even dogs could play with fire, and flames had become commonplace. Although this wasn't a One Piece world, Zhao Zheng still felt somewhat uncomfortable. Furthermore, he wasn't entirely satisfied with the flame fruit. Just then, a slender and beautiful figure suddenly appeared in front of Zhao Zheng, blocking his path. Zhao Zheng looked up and saw a pretty face, tear-streaked, looking at him pitifully. It was Su Mingyao. Chapter 4 What? Superman Bloodline is actually a trash talent. Seeing Su Mingyao stop him, Zhao Zheng was slightly taken aback. He wondered what this girl wanted. Zhao Zheng, I heard from my best friend that you like me too, and even secretly wrote me love letters, is that right? Su Mingyao said, but her eyes were fixed on the crystal box in Zhao Zheng's hand. Before Zhao Zheng could answer, she continued, if you can give me the flame fruit, I'll agree to be your girlfriend. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng was stunned. Not surprised, but shocked. How narcissistic must this girl be to say something like that? Did she think her private parts were studded with diamonds? Seeing that Zhao Zheng didn't speak for a long time, Su Mingyao finally looked up from the crystal box and looked at Zhao Zheng with a puzzled expression. Zhao Zheng? Why aren't you saying anything? Can't believe it, I'm serious. If you're willing to give me the flame fruit, then I'm your girlfriend now, and you can treat me to dinner and give me gifts today. As she finished speaking, Su Mingyao deliberately showed a shy expression. She was inwardly disgusted. Zhao Zheng didn't fit her ideal boyfriend image. Her earlier words were merely a ploy to trick him into giving her the flaming fruit. Su Mingyao had already planned it out. Once she had the fruit, she would feign compliance for a few days, then find a reason to dump him. She believed no one would say anything then. She was a fairy, wasn't wasting several days playing along with Zhao Zheng enough? As for whether the plan would fail? Definitely not. Su Mingyao was extremely confident in her looks. In the past, a little coquetry was enough to make her sycophants practically pluck stars from the sky for her. At this moment, Zhao Zheng finally responded to Su Mingyao. Go get treatment if you're sick, he left without even glancing at Su Mingyao. Zhao Zheng felt that speaking even a single word to someone so self-important was a waste of his life. He actually wanted to yell get lost, but given the public, Surrounded by students and teachers, and the fact that he'd just become the center of attention, even with TV cameras still pointed at him, he had to maintain some decorum. Even without Zhao Zheng's outburst, those few words left Su Mingyao frozen in place, her pretty face showing disbelief. He rejected her? No way. In her divinely inspired mind, the script definitely wouldn't have unfolded this way. She'd already made it clear that Zhao Zheng, the simp, should have been speechless with excitement, then offering up the flame fruit with both hands, right? Why was the reality so different from what she imagined? Where did things go wrong? For a moment, Su Mingyao stood there dumbfounded, not knowing what to do. When Zhao Zheng returned to the group, various voices immediately filled the air. Holy crap! Old Zhao, you're something else, rejecting her so decisively? If I were you, I'd try to win her over first, take advantage of her a bit. Hell, Zheng Tao, that's all you're good for. Brother Zhao has her Logia-type devil fruit. Once he eats it, what kind of woman can't he find? Brother Zhao's really going to be rich this time. It's laughable that someone actually had such wild ideas, thinking they could trick Brother Zhao out of his flame fruit with just a few words. That's just how XXN are, they always think the world revolves around them. Su Mingyao's incredulous expression just now was quite funny. The students whispered amongst themselves. Some even called him Brother Zhao with a fawning tone. Zhao Zheng couldn't help but marvel at the extraordinary power of the Logia-type devil fruit. He hadn't even eaten it yet. And he'd already become the center of attention. On the stage, the Holy Land test continued. At this moment, the vice principal called out a name from the list. Next, Song Haitang. Upon hearing this name, all the students in class 2 perked up. Zhao Zheng immediately pictured her. A top student. A super top student. In terms of academic performance, Song Haitang absolutely crushed the entire grade. She always ranked first in every exam. Furthermore, Song Haitang was also very beautiful, even more so than Su Mingyao. Good grades and high looks made Song Haitang the most dazzling student in the class. All the girls in class 2 felt like they lived in her shadow. It was said that Song Haitang's family was also very wealthy. If there was any flaw in this girl, it was that she was too cold. Song Haitang's temperament was as cold as ice. She was usually unsmiling, making her intimidating. Many classmates thought carefully and realized that in their 3 years together, they had never seen Song Haitang smile. As a result, many girls who were jealous of her secretly cursed her for pretending to be aloof. It was precisely this coldness that deterred many boys who had feelings for Song Haitang, ultimately resulting in Su Mingyao being more popular than Song Haitang. Because Su Mingyao wasn't cold, on the contrary, she often acted coquettishly towards those who fawned over her, giving them false illusions. Soon, Song Haitang's figure ascended the platform and entered the sacred ground. Many students watched intently, wondering if this ice-cold beauty would obtain some kind of extraordinary opportunity. A few seconds later, when Song Haitang emerged from the sacred ground, she was carrying a crystal box. The vice principal immediately asked, Song Haitang, what's in your crystal box? Hearing the vice principal's question, Song Haitang fell silent. Her pretty face showed no joy at obtaining such an extraordinary opportunity. Instead, it revealed sadness and disappointment. It was obvious that what she had obtained was nothing good. After a moment, Song Haitang calmed herself and then said, it's a Kryptonian bloodline card. Her voice was clear and pleasant to hear. However, at that moment, no one paid attention to her voice. When they heard what she said, many people were stunned. Then, a murmur of discussion immediately arose from the audience. Kryptonian blood? I don't know whether to say she's lucky or unlucky, yet. Although the probability of Kryptonian blood appearing is extremely rare, it's actually a useless bloodline, offering no improvement whatsoever to extraordinary individuals. What are you talking about? Is Kryptonian blood really that bad? What? Don't you know about the legendary Kryptonian bloodline? Its probability of appearance is extremely low. In over 100 years, there have only been 2 recorded instances, making it even rarer than mythical Zhao and devil fruits. However, despite its rarity, it has absolutely no power. Therefore, Kryptonian bloodline is also known as the most bizarre useless bloodline. Zhang Min, you're being too absolute. The rule in the Holy Land is that the rarer the extraordinary opportunity, the more powerful it is. There are still many experts and professors who believe that Kryptonian bloodline must have something extraordinary about it, but it just hasn't been successfully discovered yet. Haha, can you believe what those experts and professors say? This is just a pure useless bloodline, Many people had heard of the famous Kryptonian bloodline. Therefore, the teachers on the stage were naturally very disappointed with Song Haitang's test results. The students below the stage had completely different expressions. Surprise, sympathy, amusement, and regret were all present. Especially the girls in class 2, most of them wore expressions of schadenfreude. It wasn't that Song Haitang was unpopular, she hadn't offended anyone. It was just that she was too outstanding, arousing envy and jealousy among these girls. Even some of the boys in the class were dissatisfied with Song Haitang's usual aloofness. Now, finally seeing Song Haitang suffer misfortune and obtain such a bizarre extraordinary opportunity, how could they not gloat? Among the crowd, only Zhao Zheng's expression was different. At this moment, his eyes were wide open, his face filled with shock. What had he just heard? Kryptonian bloodline? Wasn't that Superman? Chapter 5, Exchanging Nature Type Cards for Useless Cards? Haitang, don't be discouraged. I know you have excellent grades. With your abilities, getting into a prestigious university is definitely not a problem, and you can still become a useful member of society in the future. As for this Kryptonian bloodline card you have, I personally suggest you give it up. Perhaps my words are a bit harsh, but this kind of bloodline with no power, if you actually fuse with it, might not be a good thing. On the stage, the vice principal comforted Song Haitang. This was the first time the vice principal had spoken so much since her appearance. And her advice to Song Haitang was indeed for her sake. Because, whether it's a devil fruit or an extraordinary bloodline, once you choose to use it, you will be forced onto the path of the extraordinary. The path to the extraordinary is not smooth sailing. On the contrary, this path is full of deadly dangers. Obtaining such a poor extraordinary bloodline and embarking on the path of the extraordinary is practically the same as suicide. Hearing this, a conflicted expression appeared on Song Haitang's pretty face. Although she was a top student, in her heart, she actually yearned for the extraordinary. Because she needed immense power to fulfill her deepest desire. But her bloodline was truly terrible. She knew the vice principal was right. Just as she was at a loss, a voice suddenly rang out from below the stage. Wait, a boy quickly stepped forward and ran up the platform. He seemed excited, carrying a crystal box. Song Haitang remembered this boy. He had been the center of attention, having obtained the extremely rare Logia-type devil fruit. She wondered what he was up to. Zhao Zheng, is there something you need? The vice principal asked. If any other student dared to cause trouble, they would have been chased away. But she was very polite to Zhao Zheng. Zhao Zheng didn't waste any words. He went directly to Song Haitang and said, Song Haitang, I want to exchange my flame fruit for your Kryptonian bloodline card. This statement shocked everyone. Everyone's eyes widened instantly. As long as both parties were willing, exchanging extraordinary opportunities was perfectly acceptable. The problem is, on one hand, there's an extremely precious and powerful Logia-type devil fruit, and on the other, a bloodline card considered worthless. This kind of exchange just doesn't seem normal. The vice principal and Song Haitang both looked stunned, thinking they had misheard. Below the stage, the students, after recovering, were even more astonished. Question mark? Did I hear that right? He actually wants to use the flame fruit to exchange for the most bizarre Kryptonian bloodline. Is there something wrong with this guy's brain? No normal person would do something like this. He must be joking, or he's just a complete idiot. Could it be that he has a crush on Goddess Song and wants to use this trick to win her heart? Possibly. But doing this is still idiotic. Once you eat the flame fruit, what goddess can't you get? I can understand. He's a simp. He always does things that are unexpected. Most people were discussing, making the playground noisy. Zhao Zheng's behavior was simply incomprehensible to everyone. Among them, the one who felt the most puzzled and unwilling was undoubtedly Su Mingyao. She had already made her point so clearly, yet Zhao Zheng walked away without hesitation, even calling her sick. Which was a huge blow to her and left her humiliated. At first, Su Mingyao thought her offer wasn't high enough, so she planned to talk to Zhao Zheng privately after the test. She was even prepared to offer herself to him and spend the night with him for the flaming fruit. Unexpectedly, in the blink of an eye, that bastard had fallen for someone else? He took her coveted flaming fruit and went to propose to Song Haitang? Hearing the surrounding whispers, Su Mingyao's face turned pale with anger, and she finally couldn't help but burst into tears, startling many of her classmates. Zhao Zheng, are you serious? On stage, the vice principal frowned and said, we're filming right now. Don't make jokes like that, it's very inappropriate. She had already been very polite and tactful. Those who know her well know she's incredibly rule-abiding, or to put it bluntly, stubborn, and she can't stand students who break the rules. Of course I'm serious. Zhao Zheng's gaze remained fixed on Song Haitang as he earnestly said, Song Haitang, would you like to trade with me? To outsiders, his earnestness looked like deep affection. Even Song Haitang herself wondered if this boy was blinded by love to make such a reckless move. Looking at the flame fruit in Zhao Zheng's hand, Song Haitang really wanted it. However, her conscience told her she couldn't take away someone else's opportunity. So, Song Haitang shook her head and said, Zhao Zheng, thank you, but this is your extraordinary opportunity, I can't take it. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng was stunned. Earlier, backstage, when he heard it was Kryptonian blood, he couldn't contain his desire and rushed out without thinking. Others might not know the power of Kryptonians, but did he not know? That was Superman, hailed as the god of man. As for why Superman's bloodline was considered worthless by everyone, Zhao Zheng had already guessed the reason. This world, before the appearance of the Holy Land, had forever lost sunlight. It wasn't that the sun completely disappeared. If the sun truly vanished, most life on this planet would have perished as well. In fact, the star still existed, but its light was mostly blocked by a terrifying, mysterious force, making the light very weak when it reached Earth. When sunlight disappeared, human society experienced immense panic and major chaos. However, after more than 100 years, people have long since become accustomed to the overcast skies. And those familiar with DC Comics know that Superman's abilities and growth are inseparable from sunlight. To be precise, it's the cells in Kryptonian humans that can convert stellar radiation into their own energy, rapidly increasing their strength. In DC Comics, many different versions of Superman have appeared. The reason these Supermen are different is because they absorb different stellar radiation. This was Zhao Zheng's judgment. Since there was no sunlight, why would he use the flame fruit to exchange for Kryptonian blood? Of course, it's because he knows where to get sunlight. For Zhao Zheng, this is a huge gamble. Despite the possibility of failure, he's still going all in. That's Superman blood. If he bets right, he'll acquire Kryptonian blood, and by using artificial sunlight to become stronger, he could very well become an invincible powerhouse. A god among men. More importantly, if he bets right, his speed of becoming stronger will be incredibly fast. And his cultivation method will be incredibly simple, just lie down and bask in the sun. Zhao Zheng is a very lazy person. Having transmigrated once, he doesn't want to spend every day training. Could he find a talent more suitable for him? Therefore, Zhao Zheng absolutely doesn't want to miss out. However, despite all his calculations, he didn't anticipate that Song Haitang, this girl, actually possessed a strange sense of conscience. Faced with the temptation of the flame fruit, she could resist and choose to refuse the exchange. What era is this? Are there still such foolish people? Faced with Song Haitang's refusal, Zhao Zheng was truly at a loss for words. In his mind, no one could refuse a Logia-type devil fruit. Suddenly, as if struck by a thought, he immediately said, Song Haitang, you don't want the flame fruit, I do. But this is your extraordinary opportunity, and even more so, your future. I can't accept it, is that so? Don't you want to kill that monster king in the abyss? Hearing this, Song Haitang's body trembled, and she looked at Zhao Zheng. Zhao Zheng ignored the girl's complicated gaze and continued to tempt her. If you really want to kill that monster, the only opportunity is right in front of you. Only by eating this flame fruit and becoming a king-level powerhouse in the future will you have a chance to achieve your goal and let your mother rest in peace. Hearing this, Song Haitang finally wavered. She wasn't surprised that Zhao Zheng knew about her past. Many people knew about that disaster. And what about you? She looked at Zhao Zheng and asked, this is your extraordinary opportunity. You gave it to me, so what are you going to do with it? P.S. Regarding the setting of Kryptonian bloodline, if there are any inaccuracies, please forgive me and follow the setting of this book. Chapter 6 Sumingayo, the flame fruit is mine. Seeing Song Haitang soften her stance, Zhao Zheng was overjoyed. However, he didn't show any unusual expression on his face. He smiled calmly and said, I'm a rather timid person, and pursuing the path of the extraordinary is too dangerous. I don't really want to go, so I'll entrust this important task to you. As long as you can help me out after you become an unparalleled powerhouse and let me live a life of wealth and honor, I'll be satisfied. Hearing this, Song Haitang gave Zhao Zheng a deep look. In the end, she chose to accept. Because she understood that Zhao Zheng was right, this was her only chance. If she missed this flame fruit, she would only live with regret for the rest of her life. Zhao Zheng, I promise you. After I kill that monster, whatever you ask for, I will fulfill it. Song Haitang said this with utmost seriousness. Zhao Zheng, good for you, girl, that's quite a bold statement. At this moment, Zhao Zheng didn't want to delve into how credible Song Haitang's words were, he just wanted to complete the exchange as soon as possible. So, with Song Haitang's consent, he immediately shoved the crystal box he was holding into Song Haitang's hands and took the box from her. The two successfully completed the transaction. Only now did everyone realize that Zhao Zheng was actually serious. Wait, that guy actually did it for real, he just gave away the flame fruit like that? Holy crap. How stupid is that? I don't understand, but I'm shocked. As expected, simps are incomprehensible creatures. They're terrifying, haha, the TV cameras are filming. I filmed what just happened, and it'll definitely go viral online later. The greatest spendthrift in history, the #1 idiot, has finally been born. In terms of stupidity, I'd call him the strongest. Witnessing the two exchange extraordinary items, the audience erupted in uproar. All the students found Zhao Zheng's behavior unbelievable. The boys simply couldn't understand it, they couldn't comprehend what Zhao Zheng was thinking. As for the girls, quite a few thought Zhao Zheng was incredibly devoted. They wished he could treat them like that and give them the flame fruit. Suddenly, nicknames like spendthrift, lovesick fool, idiot, and king of simps were all bestowed upon Zhao Zheng. Even the teachers were shocked. The admissions offices of various universities that had previously sent Zhao Zheng their business cards were now completely bewildered, staring at him on the stage as if he were an idiot. Then, they turned their attention back to Song Haitang. Since that silly boy had actually willingly handed over the flame fruit, he was no longer the talent in everyone's eyes. Song Haitang, holding the flame fruit, once again became the object of their competition. Zhao Zheng, you really, even the notorious vice principal was shocked. She had become notorious because her husband had cheated on her, leading to their divorce, which made her irritable, especially disliking men. But now, she actually saw a shining quality in Zhao Zheng, making her believe in love again. It turns out, all crows are black doesn't apply to all men. As for Zhao Zheng, he was currently overjoyed. Even AK couldn't suppress the smirk on his face. He had finally obtained the Superman bloodline he had always dreamed of, and he couldn't contain his excitement. The exchange between the two was complete. And the Kryptonian bloodline card in the crystal box now belonged entirely to Zhao Zheng. Even if Song Haitang wanted it back, it would depend on whether Zhao Zheng was willing to give it up. In other words, Zhao Zheng no longer needed to pretend. However, he didn't want to reveal the secret of the Kryptonian bloodline. Because the more people fused with a Kryptonian bloodline card, the weaker the effect of the card he possessed might become. This wasn't just Zhao Zheng's wild guess, it was a theory that had been around for many years. There had been news reports before about a devil fruit user who believed this theory and, in order to monopolize the full effects of his devil fruit, killed all other users with the same devil fruit ability. Yes, duplicate devil fruits and extraordinary bloodlines would appear in the Holy Land. According to research from the Academy of Sciences, the Holy Land did this to create the most outstanding extraordinary individuals, allowing many users with similar talents to compete with each other. This is somewhat like raising a poisonous insect. Only when someone can fully develop a certain talent and become powerful enough will the Holy Land completely prevent that talent from reappearing. After that, no similar talent will appear in the Holy Land. Therefore, Zhao Zheng needs to protect the secret of his Kryptonian bloodline for now. Once his strength reaches a certain level, he can make this Kryptonian bloodline talent unique to him, and then he can openly become a god among men. As for now, if he exposes the secret of the Kryptonian bloodline and makes others pay attention to this card, and if a new Kryptonian bloodline card appears before he grows up, and others choose to fuse with it, it could potentially affect him. This absolutely cannot happen. Zhao Zheng must protect the secret of his Kryptonian bloodline. To avoid unnecessary trouble, he must continue the charade. Therefore, Zhao Zheng looked at Song Haitang and urged, Song Haitang, now that the exchange is complete, stop dawdling and eat the flame fruit. The vice principal also chimed in, yes. Since it's Zhao Zheng's kind gesture, don't let it go to waste. Besides, storing extraordinary opportunities for too long will weaken their effects. You've already wasted a lot of time, so eat the fruit now. Storing extraordinary opportunities for too long will weaken their effects. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng almost lost his composure. Damn it. He didn't know that. He had originally planned to pretend for a while, and then find a secluded spot after the event to fuse the superpower card. Now what? He desperately wanted to fuse it immediately. Regardless of whether the vice principal's words were true or not, Zhao Zheng dared not gamble. Beside him, persuaded by the vice principal, Song Haitang glanced at Zhao Zheng with a guilty look, then opened the crystal box, took out the bright red devil fruit, and began to eat. Now that the exchange was complete, she certainly wouldn't hesitate any longer. However, after just one bite, she frowned slightly. The taste of the devil fruit was truly indescribable. Rumors circulated online that devil fruits were worse than shit, and it seemed true. Fortunately, Song Haitang had strong willpower. She endured the nausea and continued eating. Actually, one bite of a devil fruit was enough. Song Haitang knew this, but she still chose to finish it. As for the reason? Perhaps she didn't want to disappoint Zhao Zheng's good intentions. Seeing Song Haitang finish, the vice principal immediately said, "Haitang, why don't you demonstrate your burning ability to everyone?" Song Haitang was currently immersed in the state of gaining extraordinary abilities, and upon hearing this, she subconsciously made the movement. The girl raised a slender hand and then opened her palm upwards. The next moment, poof, a ball of flame appeared in Song Haitang's palm, stunning everyone present. Everyone who saw this scene showed envy. Especially Su Mingyao, who was insanely jealous. That was originally her extraordinary power. Thinking of this, Su Mingyao was both angry and anxious, and couldn't help but cry again. On the other side, Zhao Zheng saw that everyone's attention was on Song Haitang, so he quietly retreated to a corner, then immediately took out the super card and chose to fuse it. Chapter 7, No, this is too sudden. Zhao Zheng thought his actions were insignificant. Unexpectedly, Song Haitang's attention was now mostly focused on him. Ironically, while the girl was beautiful and a goddess in many people's eyes, her icy personality deterred many boys. In her entire life, very few boys had dared to pursue her or show her affection. Zhao Zheng's immediate gift of the incredibly rare flame fruit truly made her heart tremble. Falling in love with Zhao Zheng was definitely unrealistic. However, Zhao Zheng's current position in her heart was absolutely different from others. Furthermore, Song Haitang wasn't ungrateful, having received the extremely precious flame fruit. Even if only out of gratitude, she wouldn't ignore Zhao Zheng. Therefore, when she discovered that Zhao Zheng was secretly fusing with a Kryptonian bloodline card, the girl was immediately shocked. "Zhao Zheng, what are you doing?" Song Haitang exclaimed, the flame in her palm automatically extinguishing. Upon hearing this, everyone turned to look at Zhao Zheng, who had just finished fusing the Kryptonian card. The instant the fusion was complete, a phantom image of a figure in a red cape appeared behind Zhao Zheng. This was a normal phenomenon. Such phantom images would appear regardless of which hero's talent was being fused. Everyone was already used to it. However, Zhao Zheng's fusion this time shocked everyone even more than Song Haitang's fire ability. Because, in everyone's eyes, Zhao Zheng, despite claiming it was an exchange, was actually offering the flame fruit to the goddess, a typical sycophantic act. After all, with a Kryptonian bloodline card considered a bizarre and useless talent, no one except a fool would choose to fuse with it. Who would have thought that Zhao Zheng would actually choose to fuse it secretly? That phantom image in the red cape, while imposing, was all show and no substance. Holy crap! Is this kid out of his mind? Definitely, otherwise, how could a normal person do something so stupid? He fused with useless Kryptonian blood. What's he trying to do? Is he going to the supernatural realm to die? I know, he definitely doesn't want Song Haitang to have any psychological burden. That's why he did this. He's actively seeking death, not even caring about his own life. Simps are truly terrifying. Damn, this is incredible. This kind of simp must be the most awesome simp in the world, right? The king of simps truly lives up to his name. This is an eye-opener. Today has really opened my eyes. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Listening to the murmurs below, Song Haitang stared at Zhao Zheng, her beautiful eyes wide with disbelief. Did this boy really love her to this extent? To avoid burdening her, would he rather fuse with a useless talent and die? She found it hard to believe. Yet the facts were undeniable, forcing her to accept it. Besides this reason, she couldn't think of any other reason why Zhao Zheng would act so foolishly. "Zhao Zheng, I'm not worth you doing this, Song Haitang stammered. This love was so intense that she was at a loss. And Zhao Zheng? He didn't even look back. He ran away. Zhao Zheng had no interest in standing on the stage as a clown. Now that his goal was achieved, everything at school was no longer important to him. So, he ran towards the school gates. He was eager to test his newly acquired Superman bloodline, however, to everyone, his escape looked like a hasty retreat after his intentions were exposed. See? I told you so. I knew what this kid was really thinking. Bro, you're so perceptive. You're not a simp too, are you? I'm impressed. I was thinking that if I could get a decent devil fruit in the Holy Land, I'd muster the courage to pursue this song. Now, I'm completely convinced by this guy surnamed Zhao, yet I certainly couldn't give away an extremely rare and precious Logia-type devil fruit to a girl. Hey, look at Song, isn't she smitten too? On stage, Song Haitang watched Zhao Zheng's disheveled departure, unable to shake off the feeling for a long time. After leaving the campus, Zhao Zheng hailed a driverless taxi and headed to the city center. As the taxi drove along the road, through the window, he could see skyscrapers rising one after another. Occasionally, he could even see flying machines soaring high in the sky. This showed that the technology of this world far surpassed that of Earth. However, Zhao Zheng had no time to appreciate any of this. After getting into the taxi, he focused his mind, and a holographic-like attribute panel appeared in his left eye. Race, human. Constitution, 10. Spirit, 11. Strength, 10. Agility, 10. Talent, Kryptonian bloodline. Psionic points, 0. This was Zhao Zheng's current attribute panel, very rudimentary. He was quite satisfied with his body's attributes. Because, for a normal adult male, each attribute was around 10 to 12 points. For someone who had just come of age to have such attributes indicated that he was very healthy. The attribute panel wasn't Zhao Zheng's personal cheat. In fact, every human who uses a supernatural opportunity will have an attribute panel appear in their left eye. The panel is mainly used to record the superhuman's current attributes and adjust their development direction. After all, the supernatural opportunities in the Holy Land are all different. Some are biased towards strength, so you should focus on the strength attribute. Others require powerful mental release, so you need to greatly increase the mental attribute. There are other supernatural opportunities that may be biased towards speed, physique, etc. In addition, each person's attribute panel can only be seen by themselves. When Zhao Zheng saw the Kryptonian bloodline talent section on his attribute panel, his eyes burned with fervor. I've gone all out, so don't let me down, he muttered to himself. A dozen minutes later, the taxi successfully arrived at its destination. Zhao Zheng paid, and the car door opened automatically. He got out and looked up. In front of him was a rather high-end looking shop. The shop's decoration was full of futuristic technology, and the name of the shop was also very interesting, Dream of Sunshine. This was actually a sunbathing experience store. Although humans have long been accustomed to days without sunlight, those high-ranking officials and scientists who are always prepared for the worst fear that one day stars will completely disappear, so they have been researching light energy. In addition, the occasional appearance of high-tech gadgets in holy lands and spiritual realms has greatly improved scientists' research on stellar radiation. Nowadays, human scientists can basically simulate solar radiation with a similarity of 99.99%. However, this technology is not yet mature enough for large-scale application. Sunbathing experience stores like this are set up by the government to generate revenue for scientific research projects. It was precisely because Zhao Zheng knew this that he dared to use the flame fruit to exchange for Kryptonian blood. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8, The Bet Pays Off. Joy turns to sorrow. That's right. Zhao Zheng came here to gamble that this artificial sunlight would also be useful for Kryptonian bloodlines. When he entered the store, he found it nearly empty. Aside from a few bored employees playing on their phones, there wasn't a single customer. Clearly, humans nowadays were used to days without sunlight and had no interest in sunbathing. The official revenue-generating plan was likely to fail. Furthermore, according to his memory, sunbathing experience centers had only appeared in the last 2 years. This was probably why the Kryptonian secret had remained undiscovered. Welcome. Zhao Zheng's arrival attracted the attention of the employees. A female employee immediately approached and asked, "Sir, are you here to try sunbathing?" She didn't look down on Zhao Zheng because he was wearing a school uniform. "Yes," Zhao Zheng nodded, then asked, "How much does it cost?" "We charge by the hour, 150 per hour, the employee enthusiastically explained. "If you buy a card or a monthly subscription, you'll get a discount." Zhao Zheng frowned. 150 per hour? This is too expensive. No wonder nobody wants to come here. He interrupted the salesperson's enthusiastic sales pitch and said directly, "Give me 2 hours first. I'll try it out first." "Okay, sir, please follow me." Led by the salesperson, Zhao Zheng was led into a private room with good privacy. Inside the room was a large machine, almost the size of a bed, shaped like a seashell. The salesperson opened the lid of the seashell machine, revealing the white interior, and then explained, "Sir, after you take off your clothes, lie down in here. This is the switch to control the lid, this is the start switch, this is the light source size switch, and this is the emergency switch. Don't press it unless there's an emergency." After the salesperson's careful explanation, Zhao Zheng finally understood how to use it. "Enjoy your experience." With that, the salesperson temporarily left the room. Zhao Zheng couldn't wait to take off his clothes and lay naked inside the machine. As soon as he lay down, he smelled disinfectant, indicating that the place was frequently disinfected. Then, following the salesperson's instructions, Zhao Zheng began to operate the machine. Soon, the lid of the shell-shaped device closed, sealing him inside. To be honest, Zhao Zheng didn't like being in such a cramped space, but he endured it for the sake of testing his Superman bloodline. He clicked the start switch. Instantly, the unknown material on the lid emitted a warm yellow light. Zhao Zheng's face lit up with surprise. The attribute panel in his left eye was constantly changing. You absorbed sunlight, Constitution plus 0.01, Spirit plus 0.003, Strength plus 0.01, Agility plus 0.01, such prompts appeared almost every second. Zhao Zheng was overjoyed. He clenched his fists involuntarily. His eyes shone with extreme excitement. He had won the gamble. It was like winning an incredible lottery. Race, human. Constitution. 20 spirit. 14 strength. 20 agility. 20 talent, Kryptonian bloodline. Psionic points. 0 in less than half an hour. His constitution, strength, and agility had all increased by an average of 10 points. Even his mental attribute increased by 3 points. His total attributes almost doubled. Just by lying still for a little over 20 minutes, he gained 33 points in total attributes. If word got out, it would definitely cause a sensation worldwide. Because basic attributes are extremely difficult to increase. Even with the best supernatural power gained in the Holy Land through personal training, it's impossible to achieve such an exaggerated increase as Zhao Zheng's. Under normal circumstances, superhumans can only significantly improve their attributes and enhance their strength through the supernatural land. Haha, this is so awesome. This feeling of getting stronger while lying down is amazing. The Kryptonian bloodline is truly extraordinary. Zhao Zheng was extremely excited. If he wasn't afraid of disturbing the shopkeeper, he really wanted to shout loudly to vent his emotions. Before, at school, when he exchanged the flame fruit for the Kryptonian bloodline card, he actually felt immense pressure. Otherwise, he wouldn't have rushed here to test it. Because if he lost the bet and the superhuman card turned out to be a useless talent, his life would be over. Now, he won the bet, and he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. However, it seems like I can only gain 33 attribute points at a time? I've been lying here, and my attribute panel hasn't changed at all. Undeterred, he increased the intensity of the light source radiation, but it had no effect. Could it be that the sunlight simulated by the instrument isn't pure enough, affecting absorption and limiting the daily increase to this much? Zhao Zheng wondered to himself. Even so, he was still incredibly satisfied with his Kryptonian bloodline. One sunbath grants 33 attribute points, which adds up to 990 points a month, a speed of growth that absolutely crushes the world. Even though he couldn't gain any more attributes afterward, Zhao Zheng stayed in the sunbathing machine for a full 2 hours before coming out. He felt incredibly comfortable under the artificial sunlight. This was undoubtedly due to his Kryptonian bloodline. After leaving the machine, Zhao Zheng felt fantastic, better than ever before. It was even better than the feeling of being well-fed and well-rested. He put on his clothes and went outside the private room. The staff member who had greeted him earlier was already waiting at the door. Mr. Zhao, how was the experience? The staff member asked with a smile. Zhao Zheng nodded. It's alright, but the price is a bit high, the salesperson immediately said. If you think it's too expensive, you can get a membership. If you come every day, it only costs 70 yuan per hour on average. Our sunbathing equipment uses the most advanced technology. Regular sunbathing is not only good for your skin, but it can also remove dampness from your body. Nowadays, many people have a lot of dampness in their bodies. Looking at the talkative salesperson, Zhao Zheng suddenly asked, do you sell this kind of equipment here if I want to buy one? Hearing this, the salesperson's eyes lit up. This is a rich kid. Sell? Of course. What about the price? Zhao Zheng asked again. If it's the one you just tried, it's the deluxe version, priced at 370,000 yuan. Seemingly knowing that this price was a bit scary, the salesperson quickly added, however, we also have a regular version, starting at only 260,000 yuan. Hearing this price, Zhao Zheng frowned. Too expensive. If he wanted to buy it, he could only ask his family for help. Just as he thought of this, his phone suddenly rang. Zhao Zheng took out his phone and immediately felt a headache coming on. The caller ID read mother. He guessed his mother was worried because he hadn't come home for lunch, so she called. Based on his memories, Zhao Zheng knew that the body he had transmigrated into not only had the exact same appearance and name, but also extremely similar family members. Even his parents' names and appearances were identical. This made Zhao Zheng wonder if he had transmigrated into another version of himself in a parallel world. The only difference between the two families was that his parents on Earth were poor farmers, while the Zhao family on Blue Star was a wealthy local family. The reason for the different fates was entirely due to a different grandfather. On Earth, Zhao Zheng's grandfather had died of illness long ago. But this old man Zhao was not only alive and well, but also a superhuman. It was said that in his youth, he had obtained mutant blood in a sacred place, possessing the ability to harden in considerable strength, accumulating considerable wealth over the decades. Presumably, it was this superhuman power that allowed him to live such a long and healthy life. Although Grandpa Zhao has retired, he remains healthy and influential. The Zhao family is a well-known clan in the area. Grandpa Zhao had 4 sons. Zhao Zheng's father is the third. Above Zhao Zheng are 3 older cousins, the eldest of whom obtained the Zoan-type werewolf fruit in the Holy Land a few years ago. Now a graduate of a prestigious university, he possesses considerable strength and is hailed as the Zhao family's prodigy. This information flashed through Zhao Zheng's mind. He hesitated for a moment before answering the phone. Now that he had arrived in this world and occupied this young body, some things he had to face. Mom, Zhao Zheng said into the phone, mimicking the original owner's tone, don't rush me, I've been out too long, I'll be back soon. He had assumed his mother was calling to urge him to return. The result wasn't what he expected. He heard his mother sigh on the phone, son, don't come back yet. The family knows about the stupid thing you did at school. Grandpa was so angry he fainted and is in the hospital now. Your dad is furious too. He said he'd beat you to death and pretend you're no longer his son. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng's expression changed drastically. Actually, when he chose to exchange the flame fruit for Superman's talent, he had considered that his family would be in an uproar. But now that it was actually happening, he felt a chill run down his spine, unsure how to face his family. Directly explaining the reason was definitely out of the question. Even if his family believed him, where did they get the secret about Superman, and how would he explain it? Go hide at Grandpa's for a few days. Come back when your dad's calmed down, his mother added. Chapter 9. The local TV station was so rude. Hearing that his grandfather had been hospitalized because of him, Zhao Zheng was terrified. He couldn't imagine what kind of storm he would face if he went home now. So, he immediately agreed to his mother's suggestion. Then I won't go back today, I'll go to Grandpa's house later. His mother's voice came through the phone, urging, don't go empty-handed. I'll transfer you some money, buy some things to take with you, otherwise, when your grandpa finds out what you've done stupidly, he'll break your legs too. Zhao Zheng looked embarrassed. Okay, Mom, I understand. Seeing that his mother didn't respond, Zhao Zheng said, Mom, I'll hang up now if there's nothing else. Finally, his mother on the other end of the phone couldn't hold back any longer and asked, Son, what are you thinking? Logia-type devil fruits are so precious, how could you bear to give them away to someone else? Zhao Zheng didn't know how to answer this question. Seeing his silence, his mother's voice came again from the other end of the phone. They say you did this because you like that girl from the Song family, is that true, Zhao Zheng? He suddenly realized that it seemed that he couldn't find any other reason to explain his behavior except for this excuse. So, he could only grit his teeth and admit it. I suppose so, my silly son. If you really like her, that flaming fruit should be yours. Seemingly afraid her son wouldn't understand, the mother added, I've been through this. I know women admire strength. In marriage, families where the husband is stronger than the wife tend to be harmonious and happy. But couples where the woman is more outstanding than the man often don't last long. Even if that girl from the Song family is grateful for your actions and truly falls for you, you can't keep her. Because once she calms down and realizes the vast difference between you and her, she'll most likely still look down on you, unless she's truly love-struck. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng was deeply moved. This mother was very wise. At least his mother on Earth in his previous life didn't have such insight. Zhao Zheng agreed with his mother's words. However, he didn't know how to express it. Because in his exchange of extraordinary opportunities with Song Haitang, he was the one who truly profited. Song Haitang was actually the one who lost out. Of course, it couldn't be said that he cheated Song Haitang. After all, only he knew the secret of the Kryptonians, and only in his hands could that Kryptonian bloodline card truly shine. If he hadn't used the flame fruit to exchange for it, Song Haitang would most likely have given up the card and become an ordinary person. Now that Song Haitang had the flame fruit, Zhao Zheng had also achieved his long-desired double win of having the Superman bloodline. Mom. Thank you for telling me all this, I understand. Zhao Zheng could only say this. Unexpectedly, his mother on the other end of the phone suddenly snapped, you know nothing. This was a harsh remark. It startled Zhao Zheng. Mom, what's wrong? Zhao Zheng quickly asked. Your dad just told me that you fused that useless Kryptonian bloodline card in front of everyone. Is that true? You could hear the trembling in his mother's voice. Zhao Zheng broke out in a cold sweat. He had thought his mother would have known this long ago, but he hadn't expected her to find out only now. It's true, how could you be so stupid? Just from the sound of her voice on the phone, you could tell that his mother was both angry and anxious. Zhao Zheng was in a terrible predicament. He didn't know what to say. Come back, his mother suddenly said. The TV station has already broadcast your story as headline news. You're about to become famous nationwide. Don't go to your grandfather's house and embarrass yourself. This, Zhao Zheng felt his scalp tingle again. The local TV station was so rude. Could they have broadcast it later? Why were they in such a hurry? His mother thought Zhao Zheng was afraid of getting a beating when he came back, and said sadly, come back. Your father doesn't want to beat you anymore. He said you don't have long to live, and soon you'll pay the price for your stupidity. As she spoke, his mother started sobbing on the phone. Hearing his mother cry, Zhao Zheng quickly said, Mom, don't worry, I'll be right back. I'll explain everything to you. The phone hung up. Zhao Zheng immediately went to the roadside, hailed a taxi, and rushed home. A moment later, he arrived at a high-end residential area and, following his memory, walked to a row of townhouses. As soon as the residential complex opened, Grandpa Zhao spent most of his savings to buy 5 villas in one go. 4 of the townhouses were distributed among his 4 sons. The remaining detached villa, located very close to the other 4, was for himself. Grandpa Zhao used this to tell his 4 sons that they were brothers, blood ties unbreakable. He hoped they would work together and support each other. And indeed, Grandpa Zhao lived up to this. In Zhao Zheng's memory, his father and his brothers had always had a harmonious relationship. At this moment, Zhao Zheng had just returned to the villa when he ran into his uncle, who was returning from the hospital. His uncle looked at him with a look of disappointment, opening his mouth several times as if to scold him, but ultimately didn't. He simply patted Zhao Zheng's shoulder heavily and said, I just heard your mother crying inside. Go back and check on her. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng immediately ran home. His house was the 3rd of the 4 townhouses. The yard and gate were open. Upon entering, he saw a middle-aged man sitting on the living room sofa. When he saw the man's incredibly familiar face, he couldn't help but call out, Dad. This was a completely involuntary outburst from Zhao Zheng. The middle-aged man's face was exactly like his father's on Earth. The only difference was their different lifestyles. One was darker and thinner, the other had a ruddy complexion. Zhao Zheng was now almost certain that he had transmigrated to another version of himself. However, After calling out, he noticed that his father's face was ashen, glaring at him fiercely. Although Zhao Zheng's mental age was nearly 30, he still felt a chill in the face of his enraged father. This was a pressure from blood ties, unrelated to age. Suddenly, his father spoke. "I named you Zheng, hoping you would fight for your principles and seize any chance of survival. Because the world is dangerous, you have no choice but to fight." At this point, the father's expression suddenly turned to pain. "But I never imagined that when such a heaven-defying opportunity was presented to you, you would so easily hand it over, and instead, you unwittingly chose a path of no return." Chapter 10 The Song family girl's demands. Just as Zhao Zheng was about to continue his verbal attack on his son, his mother's appearance interrupted him. "Old Zhao, say less." His mother's eyes were still red. She looked at her son, her gaze filled with disappointment, but even more so with regret and heartache. "Say less," Zhao Zheng retorted angrily. "Do you know that when the spirit realm opens next month, your son will be forcibly transported inside? With his trashy fusion talent, he might very well die there." Saying it is too mild. "I wish I could beat him to death. At least if he dies here, I can collect his body. If he dies in the spirit realm, I won't even see his corpse." Zhao Zheng's tone was filled with sorrow as he finished speaking. The spirit realm he spoke of was the extraordinary place everyone talked about. In fact, the spirit realm was extremely dangerous. It also had another name, the land of the strange, because within the spirit realm existed many incomprehensible monsters, the embodiment of chaos. Even simply looking directly at them could instantly cause a normal person to suffer severe mental damage, turning them into madness or idiocy. Without sufficient talent and strength, entering the spirit realm is a near certain death. The spirit realm opens once a month. Once it opens, most extraordinary individuals are forcibly teleported into the spirit realm for adventure. If they successfully return alive, they will receive the rewards of the spirit realm and become stronger. This is the main channel for most extraordinary individuals to improve their strength. Want to retire? Of course. However, you must pass the first 10 levels of the spirit realm. The first 10 levels are mandatory. After successfully passing all 10, extraordinary individuals gain freedom and can choose whether or not to participate in the next spirit realm adventure. Zhao Zheng's words instantly shattered Wenli's psychological defenses, causing her to burst into tears again. They only had one son, Zhao Zheng. How could they not be heartbroken to see their son, whom they had raised with such care, facing a near-death situation? Wenli's tears also affected Zhao Zheng. Although Zhao Zheng didn't cry, he closed his eyes and could no longer speak. Upon closer inspection, one could see his hands, hidden in his sleeves, trembling uncontrollably. Seeing this, Zhao Zheng knew he had to do something. "Dad, Mom, don't panic." He deliberately flashed a confident smile and said, "Do you really think I, your son, am that stupid? Song Haitang and I aren't even husband and wife. How could I give away such a precious and rare natural fruit for nothing?" Surprisingly, his actions actually attracted his parents' attention. Seeing Zhao Zheng's confident smile, the elderly couple were somewhat suspicious. Wenli immediately asked, "What do you mean? Son, explain yourself clearly. Is there something else going on with what you did?" Zhao Zheng also stared intently at his son, waiting for his answer. "Actually, for the past month, I've been having the same dream every night." Zhao Zheng started to fabricate a story, including dreaming about foreseeing the future and receiving guidance from deities in a sacred place. He had to make it up. If he chose to tell his parents the truth, that he was actually a time traveler, it was hard to say how they would view him or whether they would accept him. Zhao Zheng didn't want to test their humanity. Deception was the best option. All signs point to this Kryptonian bloodline being extraordinary, and isn't the rule in the Holy Land that the stronger one is, the rarer their opportunities? That's why I decided to take a gamble. It's not really because of some bullshit love." After Zhao Zheng finished speaking, his parents exchanged bewildered glances, finding it hard to accept. His parents were intelligent, they certainly wouldn't be so easily fooled. "Now that you've fused, have you discovered anything remarkable?" Zhao Zheng asked with disbelief. Zhao Zheng replied, "I've only just fused, how could it be so fast? Wait a few months and I'll see." He didn't want to hide it from his parents, but the secret that Kryptonians become stronger by sunbathing was too unbelievable. Most importantly, it was difficult to explain. Even if his parents believed him, they might ask how he knew, and Zhao Zheng would struggle to explain. It was better to wait until he achieved results before showing them to his parents. That would be more convincing. Furthermore, in Zhao Zheng's memory, his father, Zhao Chenghua, liked to talk nonsense when drunk, blurting out everything, which had caused his mother many arguments. Although Zhao Chenghua had tried to change and was drinking less now, Zhao Zheng still had to be cautious. The secret that Kryptonians become stronger by sunbathing was of paramount importance, and it was best for him to keep the secret for now. He understood the meaning of a secret is a secret, and its leakage leads to ruin. Telling his parents this, relieving their worries, already showed him a great deal of trust in them. There was another very important point. Zhao Zheng had previously researched on his phone about the 2 Kryptonian bloodline cards that had appeared in the history of the Holy Land. One of them had died early in the spirit realm. The second, however, had incredibly good luck, successfully surviving 10 spirit realms and still alive. Although that person was over 80 years old and long retired, Zhao Zheng remained wary of him. He didn't want a second Kryptonian powerhouse to appear on this planet. At this moment, Wenli, the mother, was almost swayed by Zhao Zheng. Being a woman, she was more emotional, especially since Zhao Zheng was her son, a family member she unconditionally trusted. In comparison, Zhao Chenghua was much more rational and not so easily fooled by Zhao Zheng. Wait a few months? Wait my ass. What do you think the spirit realm is? Before he could finish speaking, the fourth brother's excited voice suddenly came from outside the door. Third brother! Third brother! Come out quickly, there's good news. The 3 people inside were startled. Zhao Chenghua glared at Zhao Zheng and quickly went out. Wenli and Zhao Zheng were also curious about what the good news was and hurriedly followed to see. In the courtyard, the fourth uncle, Zhao Chengwu, was chatting with a middle-aged man he didn't recognize. Seeing his third brother come out, he immediately introduced him. Third brother, this Mr. Zhang is a special recruiter from this Henwu University admissions office. Hello, hello. Welcome, Mr. Zhang. Hearing the names Henwu University, Zhao Chenghua didn't dare to be negligent and immediately stepped forward to shake hands with the man. May I ask what brings Mr. Zhang here? Oh, I'm here to deliver the admission notice, the middle-aged man surnamed Zhang said, on behalf of Henwu University. I'm informing you that your son, Zhao Zheng, has been admitted to our university. Please prepare as soon as possible and register at Henwu University within 4 days. Upon hearing this, Zhao Zheng and his family of 3 were somewhat surprised. Zhao Chenghua couldn't help but ask, Mr. Zhang, are you sure you haven't made a mistake? My son's talent shouldn't meet your university's standards. Henwu University is among the top 10 extraordinary universities, boasting a strong faculty and having cultivated many renowned experts. It's a prestigious university with a nationwide reputation. Naturally, the admission requirements for such a prestigious university are much higher than those of ordinary schools. Zhao Zheng's fused Kryptonian talent seemed far from meeting Henwu University's requirements. No mistake, Mr. Zhang glanced at Zhao Zheng standing behind him before explaining the reason. Mr. Zhao, you must already be aware of what happened at your son's school. After receiving the flaming fruit, Zhao Zheng gave it to Song Haitang, who needed it more. I personally admire Zhao Zheng's magnanimity and generosity. Of course, what truly led us to decide to admit Zhao Zheng was Song Haitang. After Zhao Zheng left, Song Haitang was highly sought after by various universities. Faced with these offers, Song Haitang ignored them all, making only one request. Her request was that she attend the same university as Zhao Zheng. True Martial University has agreed to Song Haitang's request. Chapter 11. He's not alone. Meanwhile, at the Song family home, upon hearing that his daughter had obtained the flame fruit's power, Chairman Song immediately handed over his work to his subordinates and rushed home. Haitang, seeing his daughter, Chairman Song hurriedly asked, "You really got the flame fruit?" Haitang had regained her composure. She calmly nodded and said, "To be precise, this flame fruit didn't originally belong to me, a classmate gave it to me." Chairman Song already knew the whole story about his daughter, since it had been on television. He hesitated for a moment before asking, "Haitang, are you dating that classmate Zhao?" As a father, Chairman Song cared deeply for his daughter. The fact that he wasn't by his wife and daughter's side during the disaster, ultimately leading to his wife's tragic death, remained a deep pain in his heart. Especially seeing his young daughter, in front of the camera, weeping and vowing to destroy the monster that caused the disaster, made him feel even more indebted to her. Chairman Song hadn't remarried all these years, also to make amends to his daughter. Now that his daughter seemed to be dating, it was normal for him, as her father, to inquire. But Song Haitang's answer surprised him. No, Song Haitang shook her head. No, Chairman Song was astonished. Then why would he give you a flame fruit? It wasn't surprising that Chairman Song didn't believe his daughter. It was simply too unbelievable. Dad, you know I never lied to you. If I say no, I really mean no. A puzzled look appeared on Song Haitang's pretty face. As for why Zhao Zheng would do that, I don't know either. This was the truth. Even now, she couldn't understand Zhao Zheng's behavior. Although they had been classmates for 3 years, she had never spoken to Zhao Zheng. Could it be that Zhao Zheng had a crush on her for 3 years? Even so, it wouldn't warrant such a huge sacrifice, would it? That was a Logia-type devil fruit. Oh, seeing that his daughter didn't seem to be lying, Chairman Song was a little confused. She really wasn't dating? He had initially thought that his daughter's relationship with that young man might have progressed to the point of a secret engagement, which would explain the enormous sacrifice the young man had made. Unexpectedly, they weren't even a couple? What was that Zhao guy after? Was he just a simp? Are there really such foolish simps in the world? It has to be said, Zhao Zheng's bizarre actions had truly baffled many people. The father and daughter racked their brains trying to figure out Zhao Zheng's thoughts, but could only conclude that Zhao Zheng loved Song Haitang too much, which led him to such irrational behavior. Since things have come to this, we can only try our best to compensate him, Chairman Song said after thinking for a moment. If he can come out of the spirit realm alive, I'll guarantee him a lifetime of wealth and honor. This wasn't Chairman Song boasting. As the president of the Extraordinary Ones Association, even if he was just a branch president, the resources and social connections he possessed were unimaginable to ordinary people. If Zhao Zheng could come out of the spirit realm alive, he truly had the ability to ensure Zhao Zheng lived a comfortable life. Song Haitang glanced at her father, then calmly stated the facts. The reason Kryptonian blood is called a useless talent is because it offers no advantage to humans. In other words, Zhao Zheng is just an ordinary person. For an ordinary person to survive the spirit realm is virtually impossible. Moreover, all extraordinary universities no longer accept students with useless talents, so he can't even attend university. President Song agreed. He frowned, thought for a moment, and said, I know several extraordinary academy principals. Haitang, go ask Zhao Zheng. If needed, I can help him get into an extraordinary academy. With my connections, it shouldn't be a problem. He paused, then added, as for those well-known extraordinary universities, it's a bit more difficult. Their admission requirements are quite strict. Extraordinary universities and extraordinary academies, though differing by only one character, are completely different. It's like the difference between a prestigious university and a vocational school. No need, Song Haitang said calmly. I've already taken care of this schooling. What? Chairman Song was taken aback, quickly asking, how did you solve it? After I ate the flame fruit at school, many universities wanted to admit me. Hearing his daughter's words, Chairman Song nodded. That's normal. Logia-type devil fruit users are rare, only a handful appear worldwide each year. Every school wants them. Could it be that you? He suddenly widened his eyes, as if realizing something. Sure enough. Song Haitang continued in her calm voice, I made a request to the admissions officers. If they wanted to admit me, they had to agree to let Zhao Zheng attend the same school. Many schools couldn't meet my request due to their regulations, so only 6 universities agreed. I chose the best one, Zhenwu University. Presumably, the acceptance letter from Zhenwu University should have already reached Zhao Zheng by now. These words left Chairman Song speechless. He didn't know what to say. Blame him? But his daughter was repaying a debt of gratitude. Moreover, compared to Zhao Zheng's sacrifices, his daughter's actions were nothing. After a moment's thought, Chairman Song smiled wryly. Haitang, I know you want to compensate that Zhao student, and I don't object to your actions. However, Zhenwu University is still a top 10 university, even if it's at the bottom of the top 10. Every student who can enter Zhenwu University possesses top-tier talent and abilities. Forcing that Zhao student into Zhenwu University might not be a good thing, because he might face the predicament of not being able to find teammates. A dragon doesn't dwell with a snake. No one would want to team up with someone with useless talent. Then, when he goes to the spirit realm alone, the danger will only increase. Chairman Song couldn't continue. He thought of a very terrible and terrifying possibility. His expression changed, and he quickly looked at his daughter. And Song Haitang certainly didn't disappoint her father. He has teammates, the girl said calmly. I'm his teammate. Her tone was calm, but it carried an undeniable resolve. President Song nearly fainted. Daughter, please don't do anything foolish. The spirit realm is extremely dangerous. If you bring a burden, you won't survive. Doing this will not only harm him but also yourself. Also, didn't you swear to destroy that monster? Now that you've obtained the powerful flame fruit, you have a good chance of achieving that goal. As long as you find a good team leader who can help you in the spirit realm, you can get more rewards and become stronger quickly. You can't afford to make a single mistake on your journey to the spirit realm. If you don't lay a solid foundation in the spirit realm from the beginning, you'll never become a strong person, let alone kill that monster. I know you want to compensate that Zhao classmate, but there are many ways to compensate him. You don't need to sacrifice yourself to dissuade his daughter from her unreliable idea. Even the identified President Song had to transform into a mother hen, patiently persuading her. Chapter 12 Fleeing with Buckets in the Night. The Zhao family. After seeing off the admissions office of Zhenwu University, the three members of the Zhao family returned to their room, staring silently at the acceptance letter on the table. After a long while, it was the mother, He Wenli, who broke the silence first. That girl has a conscience. The father's expression changed, and he said in a deep voice, she has a conscience, but she did good deeds that backfired. What do you mean? He Wenli asked, puzzled. Didn't we already hear that all the extraordinary academies are no longer accepting students with useless talents? Now that a prestigious university like Zhenwu University has accepted our son, isn't that a good thing? Zhao Chenghu's face had already turned very ugly. Seeing that his wife hadn't reacted yet, he said, let me ask you, Zhenwu University is a prestigious university. According to their admission standards, aren't all students who can enter Zhenwu University students with exceptional talent? Yes. What's wrong with that? At this point, He Wenli's expression immediately changed. She was a smart woman, and after her husband's reminder, she immediately realized the problem. You mean, once he gets into Zhenwu University, no one wants to team up with my son? Zhao Chenghu nodded, his face growing increasingly grim. They're all top talents, they definitely won't want to team up with someone with such useless talent. This brat will have to be forcibly teleported into the spirit realm all by himself. He Wenli's face instantly turned pale. The spirit realm was no secret. She had heard about its dangers. Teaming up meant mutual support, but going alone increased the danger several times over. People need to sleep. And some spirit realms take a long time to traverse. Eating, drinking, and relieving oneself all consume energy in the spirit realm. Without teammates, how could one endure it? What if he encountered something strange while sleeping? If Zhao Zheng's previous trip to the spirit realm was a near-death experience, now it was definitely a one-way trip. Thinking of this, He Wenli panicked. Old Zhao, what do we do? Zhao Chenghu didn't answer. He didn't know either. He Wenli seemed to have thought of something and immediately said, why don't we just have that girl surnamed Song team up with our son and have her protect him? Our silly son even gave her the flame fruit, so it's not unreasonable for her to protect him, right? What are you thinking? Zhao Chenghu couldn't help but say, do you think everyone is as stupid as this brat, Zhao Zheng? He felt offended. How could she possibly be willing to give up her future to protect him? Zhao Chenghu continued, even if the Song girl were willing to do it, Chairman Song definitely wouldn't agree. Why should she? That flame fruit originally belonged to my son, He Wenli retorted. He gave such a valuable thing to his daughter, so why can't his daughter protect my son? Just because he's Chairman Song, he has the power and resources to easily shut our family up. Zhao Chenghu's words were hurtful, but they were true. He sighed and said, if anyone's to blame, it's her son for being so foolish, willingly giving away such a rare treasure without even asking for anything in return. Hearing this, He Wenli couldn't hold back any longer. She angrily walked to her son's side and lightly slapped his arm a few times. How could you be so stupid? You even believed in dreams? What are we going to do now? After just a few slaps, He Wenli burst into tears. Seeing his mother like this, Zhao Zheng felt a pang of sadness. Although he was very confident that a month later, even if he entered the spirit realm alone, with his attributes at that time, he could easily defeat all the strange monsters there. But no one would believe him if he said that. His parents might even think he was out of his mind. Zhao Zheng could only remain silent. He was touched by his parents' concern, but also felt overwhelmed by the weight of their affection. Then let our son not go. He Wenli wiped away her tears and said defiantly, what kind of crappy Zhenwu University is this? We don't care, and we certainly don't want the Song family's hypocrisy. Zhao Chenghu shook his head. he still has to go. Zhenwu University has many renowned teachers and can offer many good things. Perhaps this silly boy can learn something and have a better chance of survival in the spirit realm. Even if he doesn't go to Zhenwu University, with his fusion talent, he won't find teammates even if he spends money. The result will be the same. After a pause, Zhao Zheng glanced at the time and suddenly said, "Not only do we have to go, but we have to leave now." He turned his gaze to Zhao Zheng and said in an unfriendly tone, "You brat, buy a ticket now, buy a ticket for tonight, then pack your things. I'll take you to the station later." "No way," He Wenli immediately protested. "Why are you kicking my son out? Son, don't pay attention to him. Stay home and spend these last few days with me. Go to school on the last day." She was afraid that after this separation, she would never see her son again. Looking at his wife's reluctant and desperate eyes, Zhao Zheng felt a pang of pain in his heart, but still gritted his teeth and said, "You know the old man's temper. When he comes back from the hospital, that brat will inevitably suffer a beating. Do you want to see him punished?" He Wenli then understood her husband's intention. She wasn't actually that foolish. It was just that her concern today had clouded her judgment, and her usual wisdom was completely useless. "Son, your life is so hard." He Wenli hugged Zhao Zheng and burst into tears. "Mom, I don't think I'm suffering." Seeing his mother's heartbroken state, Zhao Zheng felt a pang of guilt. In truth, he was the one who had created this situation. "Mom, don't worry. Your son will be all right. I promise, I will definitely come back safely," he said in a deep voice. He was currently bottling up a lot of negative energy and desperately needed to vent. He hoped the strange monster in the spirit realm would be able to withstand a beating. Half an hour later, Zhao Zheng personally drove his son to the train station. He Wenli didn't come to see him off. She was afraid she wouldn't be able to control herself and would burst into tears at the station. "Take care of yourself out there." Zhao Zheng looked at his son, his expression complex, and said, "Don't forget, your mother is still waiting for you to come home. Don't worry, Dad. I'll definitely come back," Zhao Zheng solemnly promised. Although he had only been in this world for less than a day, he deeply respected his parents. Zhao Zheng didn't say anything more, patted Zhao Zheng on the shoulder, and drove away. After watching his father leave, Zhao Zheng went through security and entered the station. There was still about half an hour before departure. He found a seat, took out his phone, and browsed the internet to pass the time. Smartphones existed in this world, even more advanced than those on Earth. Zhao Zheng was currently using a mainstream smartphone, with excellent performance and smooth internet browsing. When he opened a news webpage, his eyes immediately narrowed. Is it true love? Even the flame fruit can be given away so easily? Such a shocking news headline was currently ranked number 1 on the national trending news list. Chapter 13 I want to be a god-level ancestor. Damn it, Zhao Zheng was furious. This news headline was a complete misuse of language. Even reborn people don't date. Why should I, who transmigrated to a supernatural world, date? He wasn't surprised that his story quickly became the top trending news nationwide. After all, exchanging a rare Logia-type devil fruit for an ability considered useless was big news. Unprecedented. Clicking on the news, it was indeed about him. This morning, at XX High School in Luan City, a shocking exchange of extraordinary opportunities occurred. A boy actually used the extremely rare Logia-type flame fruit to exchange for a Kryptonian bloodline card with a girl. As everyone knows, there's a rule in the Holy Land, the more powerful the extraordinary opportunity, the rarer it is. However, this rule doesn't apply to Kryptonian bloodline cards. Although the probability of a Kryptonian bloodline card appearing is extremely low, only 2 cases have been recorded to date, it still doesn't change the fact that the Kryptonian bloodline is considered a useless talent. The 2 known cases of Kryptonian bloodlines are as follows. The first, a Westerner, died in the spirit realm over 70 years ago. The other, a South Korean, luckily survived the first 10 levels of the spirit realm and is still alive, over 80 years old. Records indicate this South Korean tried various training methods but found no benefit from the Kryptonian bloodline. Therefore, it's common knowledge that Kryptonian blood is equivalent to useless talent. So, knowing its useless talent, why would this student surnamed Zhao willingly exchange his precious flame fruit for a female classmate? In my opinion, there's no other explanation besides true love. What a tedious and verbose news report. Following the news was a complete video, showing what happened at that school today. Zhao Zheng, being a witness, naturally had no interest in watching the video. He scrolled directly to the comments section below the video. Holy crap. Really? I've never seen anything like this before. Are there still people this stupid these days? Why can't I ever meet someone like that? True love. I think he's just a delusional simp. The girl doesn't seem to know him very well, whether it's true love or just being a simp. I have to say, this guy has pretty good taste. That girl is really beautiful. She is beautiful, but even so, giving away the flame fruit is a bit crazy. Isn't he afraid of getting nothing in return? If it's true love, I can't understand it, but if this guy is just a simp, I can understand it, because I've seen how terrifying a lovesick simp can be. Ha. This guy's gone viral. After seeing this, Zhao Zheng chose to close the window and stop reading. What the netizens said was similar to what his classmates said. They all thought he was a simp. Actually, this was fine. It could temporarily help him keep the Kryptonian secret a secret. Zhao Zheng knew that once he became powerful, the Kryptonian secret would eventually be exposed. He didn't actually intend to keep it a secret forever. That was impossible. His idea was simple: keep it a secret for as long as possible, at least wear that South Korean down. Then, he would be the only Superman on this planet. As for whether anyone else would obtain a Kryptonian bloodline card in the Holy Land later, that was beyond his control. However, there was another theory about the Holy Land's opportunities. That is, the stronger the user of an extraordinary opportunity, the lower the probability of a similar opportunity appearing in the Holy Land later. For example, the abilities of the world's top experts are currently almost all unique. Originally, there was only one recipient of the flame fruit, but the previous user died in the spirit realm. If this theory about the Holy Land was true, then Zhao Zheng should conceal the Kryptonian secret even more and wait until he became stronger. Attention passengers, train 7743 is about to depart. Passengers on train 7743, please proceed to. A loud announcement interrupted Zhao Zheng's thoughts. He glanced at his ticket and saw that his train number was Go 7743. He stood up, grabbed his luggage, and headed to the ticket gate. Zhenwu University was located in Luzhou, the provincial capital, very close to Zhao Zheng's city. Just half an hour later, he arrived smoothly at Luzhou station. It was already past 7 p.m., and the sky was quite dark. Zhao Zheng took a taxi from the station to the vicinity of Zhenwu University's campus. Instead of entering the campus, he chose to check into a nearby hotel. It was so late, the people in charge of registration at the university must have already gone home or were resting. He planned to go to the university the next morning. After storing his luggage at the hotel, Zhao Zheng went out onto the street, first finding a restaurant for dinner, and then, following the map, took a taxi to a nearby sunbathing experience center. This experience center was part of a chain with the one he had visited before. And because it was located in the provincial capital, the decor here was much more upscale. When Zhao Zheng entered the store, there were still some customers inside. It seems that there are indeed more wealthy people in provincial capitals, and their spending power is stronger. Even such expensive experience stores attract customers. This time, Zhao Zheng didn't waste money and chose a 1-hour experience. The equipment on both sides was the same. However, while Zhao Zheng was enjoying a sunbath, his attribute panel remained unchanged. Looks like it's only valid once a day. Zhao Zheng wasn't surprised by this. In fact, he had already guessed it. The reason he came here was simply to try it out. What if he could refresh his attributes twice? When Zhao Zheng returned to the hotel, it was past 9 o'clock at night. He took a shower, lay in bed, and thought for a moment before sending a message home to let his family know he was safe. Mom, I arrived at school around 7 o'clock tonight. Because it was too late, I didn't go to school. I checked into a hotel near the school and planned to go to school tomorrow. Not long after, a reply came, okay, Mom knows. Lock the door when you go to sleep tonight. Tell Mom if you need more money. Seeing this message, Zhao Zheng hesitated for a moment. He really needed the money right now because he wanted to buy a sunbathing device so he wouldn't have to go to the experience store every day. However, he hesitated to ask his mother for money. After all, he had just caused a huge commotion at home, and asking for hundreds of thousands of yuan now might really upset his parents. After hesitating for a moment, Zhao Zheng decided not to bring it up. Mom, is everything alright at home? Don't worry about things at home. Just focus on your studies at school, and be sure to come back to see Mom next month. P.S. There are many versions of Superman. The strongest version of Superman is even more powerful than a god. capable of destroying the universe. Like Saitama, Superman in this book has no upper limit and can be infinitely strengthened. Chapter 14: The Secret of the Vanishing Sunlight. After chatting with his mother for a while, Zhao Zheng lay on the hotel bed, unable to sleep. Today was his first day since transmigrating. He hadn't expected so many things to happen on his very first day. Although he had experienced many twists and turns, Zhao Zheng was very satisfied with his gains today. He had obtained the Superman bloodline he had always dreamed of and confirmed that artificial sunlight also had an effect on it. That was enough. Just thinking about becoming a god among men filled Zhao Zheng with immense excitement, making it impossible for him to sleep. After a moment's thought, he simply picked up his phone again, opened a short video app, and searched for videos of top experts worldwide. Surprisingly, he found quite a few. The first video was from a well-known powerhouse from the Western Federation, named Ethan Smith. The video showed a port where many ships had collided due to the impact of waves, their engines damaged and unable to move, some ships on fire, and people trapped inside. When the firefighters were at a loss, Ethan appeared. He was a thin, middle-aged white man, seemingly unremarkable. However, his entrance was incredibly impressive. He flew in from the distant horizon, like a god. Upon arriving at the scene, Ethan stood in midair, raised a hand, and waved it towards the trapped ships. Instantly, all the ships left the harbor area, slowly floating up until they were all flying in the sky. Then, Ethan controlled the ships with his right hand and rearranged their positions with his left. He delivered the burning ships to the firefighters, while releasing the intact ships back into the sea. This scene was like a miracle. Zhao Zheng's eyes widened in disbelief. He recognized Ethan's abilities at a glance. It was Magneto from Marvel's Mutants. Moreover, the fact that Ethan could control so many ships simultaneously with such ease showed that his strength was no weaker than Magneto's. The video was incredibly popular. The comments alone exceeded 1 million. Zhao Zheng clicked on the comments and found that netizens shared his amazement. He continued watching the video. The second video features a powerful individual from an island nation, a middle-aged woman named Tanaka Momo. Tanaka Momo possesses the Logia-type ice fruit ability. That's right. It's the same ability as Admiral Aokaji's in the original story. The video begins with a disaster. A massive earthquake triggers a super tsunami that descends upon the island nation. The tsunami reaches heights of hundreds of meters, sweeping across the endless sea and engulfing the coast. When it reaches the shoreline, what everyone sees is a devastating, overwhelming force that blots out the sky. Faced with such a natural disaster, everyone feels despair. Most of the humans on the coast flee in panic, but many remain standing, knowing they cannot escape such a catastrophe. Just as the tsunami is about to engulf the inland areas, Tanaka Momo arrives like an arrow from afar. Ice Age, a sharp shout escapes Tanaka Momo's lips, accompanied by freezing rays unleashed from her palms. When the freezing rays met the tsunami, an incredibly shocking scene unfolded. The massive tsunami froze into ice at a speed visible to the naked eye, in just a few breaths. The colossal tsunami, hundreds of meters high and several kilometers wide, was frozen into an ice sculpture. The visual effect was simply breathtaking. Even Zhao Zheng, who had read the original work, couldn't help but marvel. Zhao Zheng clicked on the comments and learned that the events in the video had occurred last April. However, more than a year had passed, and it was said that the frozen tsunami hadn't completely melted. Next, there were other videos showcasing the abilities of powerful individuals. For example, in a certain country in the Middle East, the strongest being was a user of the glint fruit. When an endless horde of monsters attacked, and the human army couldn't withstand it, this powerful individual flew in from the horizon, transforming into a giant ball of light in the air, unleashing endless flashes of light to blast away the monsters. Ultimately, he single-handedly stopped the oncoming monsters. There was also an Indian expert whose power stemmed from the Hulk bloodline. Once transformed into Hulk form, he was unstoppable, even missiles couldn't harm him. Terrifying. Impressive? Zhao Zheng's expression turned serious as he muttered, "It seems there are more and stronger top-tier experts in this world than I imagined." He continued, "Although I have a Kryptonian blood, it's best to keep a low profile until I fully develop. Fortunately, abilities like Professor X, Apocalypse, and Phoenix haven't appeared yet. It seems the Holy Land knows these abilities disrupt the balance too much, so they don't provide them." He scrolled through some videos, finding many foreign experts. Strangely, videos of domestic experts were scarce. Aside from those who voluntarily displayed their abilities, no videos of other famous experts circulated. Zhao Zheng immediately understood the reason. It must be a deliberate blockade by higher-ups. Truly worthy of Xia country, consistent with their usual low-key approach, he muttered, searching online for information about Xia country's experts. Xia country is a populous nation with many powerful individuals. Opinions vary regarding Xia country's current strongest expert, with several names considered top tier. However, one middle-aged man named Wei Wuwei was mentioned most frequently. It is said that this person is a true martial artist, whose signature move is a technique called Kamehameha, which he used to kill a monster king on an extraterrestrial battlefield. This is also the first successful case of killing a king-level monster in human history. Wei Wuwei is therefore considered the best candidate for the strongest person in Xia Kingdom. Seeing this information, Zhao Zheng had a headache. This world is simply a chaotic battle of various elements. What exactly is the Holy Land? How can it produce these things? Zhao Zheng was very puzzled about the origin of the Holy Land. In the public and online, everyone believes that the Holy Land is the savior of mankind. Because more than 100 years ago, monsters appeared first and invaded the human world. At that time, the human side was almost overwhelmed when the sacred crystal fell from the sky, allowing people to discover the existence of the Holy Land and find hope in fighting the monsters. Subsequently, one strong person after another appeared, and mankind was able to drive the monsters out of their homeland. In short, without the Holy Land, there would be no current situation, and human civilization might have long since ceased to exist. Also, there is no information online about the disappearance of sunlight. Compared to the Holy Land, the disappearance of sunlight. What worried Zhao Zheng even more was that some terrifying entity was devouring the sun. If such a powerful being truly existed, then no matter how many strong humans there were, it would be useless. Because once the star was devoured, Earth, on which humanity depended for survival, would wander the universe without the gravitational pull of its star. If they were lucky, it would become a frozen wasteland like the movie The Wandering Earth, with half of humanity perishing. If they were unlucky, it would be captured by the gravity of another galaxy, collide with it, and ultimately nothing would be left. The government has been vigorously developing and researching solar energy technology, likely because they realize that the sun will eventually disappear. Thinking of this, Zhao Zheng frowned, his face grave. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15 Zhao Zheng, have you heard my story? The next day, Zhao Zheng got up early. After washing up, he went straight to the sunbathing experience center without even having breakfast. The staff were a little surprised that Zhao Zheng had come so early. They had just opened. Usually, the experience center was empty in the morning. People only came to sunbathe in the afternoon or evening. Who would come so early in the morning? Zhao Zheng explained, "Oh, I haven't been feeling well lately. The doctor said I have too much dampness in my body and recommended that I come for sunbathing treatment." Actually, Zhao Zheng didn't need to explain. The staff would have served him anyway. After all, when you're in business, why turn away customers? Besides, the staff's wages were based on a base salary plus commission. The more customers they had, the higher their income would be. Zhao Zheng only explained to avoid attracting attention. Next, led by a staff member, Zhao Zheng entered a private room. He wasn't a first-timer and had experience. As soon as the staff member left, he eagerly took off his clothes and lay down in the sunbathing machine. You absorbed sunlight, Constitution plus 0.01, Spirit plus 0.003, Strength plus 0.01, Agility plus 0.01. You absorbed sunlight, Constitution plus 0.01, Spirit plus 0.003, Strength plus 0.01, Agility plus 0.01. You absorbed sunlight, Constitution plus 0.01, Spirit plus 0.003, Strength plus 0.01, Agility plus 0.01. The familiar notification finally reappeared. It appeared almost every second. Zhao Zheng couldn't help but curl his lips into a smug smile. About 20 minutes later, the notification stopped appearing. With a thought, Zhao Zheng opened his attribute panel in his left eye. Race, human. Constitution, 30. Spirit, 17. Strength, 30. Agility, 30. Talent, Kryptonian bloodline. Psionic points, 0. These were his attributes after a sunbathing session. Just like yesterday, his physique, strength, and agility all increased by 10 points, while his spirit attribute increased by 3 points. Zhao Zheng was very satisfied. When he came out of the device and felt the increased power in his body, a look of joy appeared on his face. This feeling of becoming stronger was simply wonderful. According to the attribute panel, he was now 3 times stronger than a normal person in both physique and strength. And this was just the beginning. A moment later, Zhao Zheng left the experience center and returned to the hotel. He first took his luggage from the hotel and then went to Zhenwu University to register. Zhenwu University was very grand. The gate alone was over 15 meters high, and the words Zhenwu were written in a magnificent and imposing style on the gate. Passing through the gate, he was greeted by a huge garden. In the middle of the garden stood a huge statue. Through the stone tablet next to it, Zhao Zheng learned that the prototype of this statue was the first principal of Zhenwu University, who sacrificed himself on the battlefield outside the region. After reading about the principal's life, Zhao Zheng was filled with respect. This is a hero. Excuse me, are you a freshman here to register? A voice came from the side, interrupting Zhao Zheng's thoughts. He turned around and saw a thin young man with glasses standing behind him. Like him, the young man also had a suitcase. Yes, Zhao Zheng replied. Are you a freshman too? Yes, the young man smiled. I thought I was early enough, but I didn't expect you to be here even earlier. I arrived last night. Zhao Zheng thought to himself. My name is Zhang Chengpeng, the young man asked again. What's your name, fellow student? This Zhang Chengpeng looked thin and frail, and was quite polite, but he had a very outgoing personality. Zhao Zheng, after introducing themselves, the two walked together. They followed the main road, passed through the garden, and arrived at the school's playground. There were already quite a few people on the playground, and a huge banner hung up that read Welcome Freshmen. It seemed that some people had arrived even earlier than them. The two walked into the crowd, and immediately a senior female student came up to them. Hello, are you new freshmen? The senior student introduced herself. I'm Zhao Zheng, a year ahead of you, just started my sophomore year, and I'm one of the welcoming staff for this year's new students. This senior student had an ordinary appearance, but possessed a sharp aura. Most striking was her missing arm. Her left arm was empty, with nothing in the sleeve. Seemingly noticing the two junior students' gazes, Zhao Zheng generously stated, I wasn't born disabled. I cut off this arm myself after being poisoned by corpse poison in the 10th level of the spirit realm. Upon hearing this, Zhao Zheng immediately showed admiration. To be able to cut off her own arm to survive meant this senior student was definitely a person of extraordinary willpower. To put it bluntly, she was ruthless. Most people couldn't do that. Furthermore, Zhao Zheng had already passed the 10th level of the spirit realm, indicating her considerable strength. Thinking of this, neither Zhao Zheng nor Zhang Chengpeng dared to underestimate this senior student with the missing arm. Two juniors, come over and register your information first. The two nodded. Zhang Chengpeng stepped forward first and said, My name is Zhang Chengpeng, from XX City. This is my admission notice. Zhao Zheng glanced at Zhang Chengpeng's admission notice and uploaded his information to her tablet. Then, she looked at Zhao Zheng. Junior, it's your turn, Zhao Zheng said. My name is Zhao Zheng, from Luan City. This is my admission notice. Hearing Zhao Zheng's name, Zhao Zheng was stunned. Zhao Zheng, from Luan City. Suddenly, as if she had thought of something, her eyes widened, and she exclaimed, You're Zhao Zheng? The one who even gave away the flaming fruit. Her exclamation was quite loud, immediately attracting the attention of many people around. Everyone looked at Zhao Zheng, surprised and curious. After a night of news, almost every netizen in the country had heard Zhao Zheng's story. Instantly, Zhao Zheng was surrounded by onlookers. Zhang Chengpeng, who had been standing next to him, quietly moved a few steps away, wanting to distance himself from Zhao Zheng. Zhao Zheng didn't care about Zhang Chengpeng's opinion of him. He said somewhat helplessly, Yes, I'm the biggest idiot online, the super simp who uses the flame fruit to win a beauty smile. Actually, he had anticipated this situation after entering the school and was mentally prepared. That's why he could speak so frankly. After all, compared to the powerful Superman bloodline, the mere label of trash was nothing. Sorry, Junior Zhao Zheng, Zhao Zheng seemed to realize her slip of the tongue and quickly apologized. I just saw your news this morning, and then I ran into you in person. I lost control a bit. It wasn't intentional. Oh, it's okay, Zhao Zheng said. Senior. Please upload my information first, okay? Chapter 16. Some people are born to be protagonists. After completing registration, Zhao Zheng, to express her apology, specially escorted Zhao Zheng to the boys' dormitory. As soon as the two left, a buzz of discussion broke out at the registration site. I can't believe this super simp actually got into Zhenhui University. With his talent, how did he even get in? Is that even a question? He must have pulled some strings and used connections. Get into Zhenhui University through connections? Looks like this Zhao's family background is amazing. I hate people who rely on connections the most. I think it's a bad thing that Zhenhui University admitted him. He's very famous online now. Once it's exposed that he got into Zhenhui University, even a fool would know there's something fishy going on. It could negatively impact Zhenhui University's reputation, that's right, but I think the most foolish one is this Zhao. With his talent, even if he forced his way into Zhenhui University, so what? Does he think someone would risk teaming him up? Hell, I bet he won't even survive the first level, the spirit realm. What if he does manage to survive? If he survives, I'll eat shit on livestream, on the road. Zhao Zheng was explaining to Zhao Zheng in detail. Junior, that's the cafeteria on the right, the red building on the left is the teaching building, and the others are training halls. Zhao Zheng was a little confused. So many training halls. Zhao Zheng nodded and explained, actually, the curriculum at Extraordinary University is quite limited, mainly focusing on information related to the spirit realm. The truly important thing is to improve student strength so they can survive in the spirit realm. Our true martial university, although it's at the bottom of the top 10, its training equipment is in no way inferior to other prestigious universities. At this point, Zhao Zheng pointed to another building and continued, see that domed building? That's a gravity chamber, equipped with the most advanced gravity equipment in the country, with a maximum gravity of 5 times that of Earth. Training in the gravity chamber is very effective. Hearing about the gravity chamber, Zhao Zheng was surprised. He remembered that Superman and Goku in Dragon Ball trained in gravity chambers. But that was anime. Gravity chambers must be technically very difficult to build, right? He hadn't expected this world to have something like this. It seemed this world's technology was even more advanced than he'd imagined. However, he had a feeling that this world's technology tree was a bit off. They had spacecraft, solar energy technology, even gravity chambers, yet some civilian equipment remained backward. Wait? Zhao Zheng suddenly realized something. Spacecraft, solar energy technology, gravity chambers, aren't these all technologies needed to build spaceships? Could it be that the higher-ups are afraid Blue Star can't be defended, and have been researching and building spaceships, preparing for the Fireseed Project's escape at any time? This guess sent a chill down Zhao Zheng's spine. Currently, in the extraterrestrial battlefield, humanity wasn't at a disadvantage. So, what made the higher-ups so desperate? Why were they preparing an escape plan? Could it be that his previous guess was correct? Was there really something terrifying, devouring stars? Thinking of this, cold sweat broke out on Zhao Zheng's back. Just how terrifying would something capable of devouring stars be? I hope I'm just overthinking it. Maybe the higher-ups are developing these technologies just to prepare for the worst and plan ahead. He silently comforted himself. Junior Zhao Zheng? Junior Zhao Zheng. Zhao Zheng's call brought Zhao Zheng back to his senses. Senior, what's up? Zhao Zheng smiled and said, we've arrived at the boys' dormitory. It's on your right. I'm a girl, so I won't walk you there. Zhao Zheng looked up to his right and indeed saw the dormitory building. He quickly thanked her. Thank you, Senior. Zhao Zheng smiled and reminded him, classes officially start in 3 days. Don't be late, Junior. The reason Extraordinary University starts so quickly is because the spirit realm opens every month, leaving no time for students to have a summer vacation. After saying this, Zhao Zheng turned and left. Zhao Zheng dragged his suitcase into the dormitory building. True Martial University truly lives up to its reputation as one of the top 10 universities. Its infrastructure is excellent, even the students' dormitories are single rooms. When Zhao Zheng took the key and opened his dormitory room, his eyes lit up. The dormitory was small but fully equipped, with a bed, a computer desk, air conditioning, and even a private bathroom. It was simple, but also very comfortable for one person. In fact, most extraordinary universities offer single rooms. This is because students at extraordinary schools frequently venture into spiritual realms, walking the line between life and death, putting them under immense pressure. Single rooms are undoubtedly the most suitable option for these students to rest well. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. During these 2 days, Zhao Zheng went to the Sunbathing Experience Center every day without fail, even getting a membership. Besides that, he also familiarized himself with all the facilities at the school. He had to admit, extraordinary universities were indeed different from what he had imagined. There were many training facilities he had never heard of before. Today was the last day of his holiday. Classes would begin tomorrow. Around 9 o'clock in the morning, Zhao Zheng once again appeared at the Sunbathing Experience Center on time. After his sunbathing session, his attributes were as follows: race, human. Constitution, 60, spirit. 26, strength. 60, agility. 60, talent, Kryptonian bloodline. Psychic points, 0. In just 5 days, he had achieved these attributes. It was incredible. Superman's physique is truly amazing. Zhao Zheng left the Experience Center with great joy and returned to school. Since today was the last day of registration, there were many new students at the school, making it very lively. Many people wanted to spend more time with their parents at home and arrived just in time. In the crowd at the registration area, Zhao Zheng immediately spotted a very familiar figure. That figure was truly stunning. Even standing in a corner, she was like a firefly in the night, actively attracting everyone's attention. It was Song Haitang. At this moment, most of the boys at the registration site were furtively eyeing Song Haitang, including some girls. Seeing Song Haitang, everyone finally understood that some people are born to be the protagonist. Wherever she stands, that's the center stage. Just as Zhao Zheng was considering whether to take a detour, Song Haitang spotted him. Zhao Zheng, Song Haitang called out. Beside Song Haitang was identified-looking middle-aged man, presumably her father. Hearing his daughter's call, Chairman Song immediately looked towards Zhao Zheng. Chapter 17 Zhao Huangmeo, Old Beng, are you panicking? What a coincidence. Song Haitang, classmate, Zhao Zheng greeted her with a smile. Since he had already been discovered, he might as well be more outgoing. He walked towards the father and daughter, and when he reached them, he spoke to Song's father first. This must be Uncle Song, right? Hello, Uncle Song, my name is Zhao Zheng, and I'm Song Haitang's high school classmate. When you meet an elder, you should greet them first. Before he transmigrated, Zhao Zheng was almost 30 years old. He couldn't possibly be ignorant of such basic manners. I know you. Chairman Song looked at Zhao Zheng as if he were a blonde-haired kid, then said with a complicated expression, Little Zhao, thank you for being willing to give the flaming fruit to Haitang. As he said this, Chairman Song took out a business card and handed it to Zhao Zheng. This is my business card with my personal phone number. You can call me if you need anything. Chairman Song looked intently at Zhao Zheng, his expression enigmatic. Little Zhao, Haitang is a bit naive and easily deceived. So, I'd like to ask you to look after her at school to prevent her from being tricked by unscrupulous people. Is that alright? If you can do that, I'll be very grateful. By the way, your father is Zhao Chenghua, right? Speaking of which, I know your father. How about this? You look after Haitang for me, and I'll take care of your father for you. These words left Zhao Zheng somewhat bewildered. Why was this Uncle Song saying so much to him right off the bat? He wasn't stupid, he was quite mature and could naturally tell that while Uncle Song was asking him to look after his daughter, his tone was actually a veiled warning, and he even brought up his father. What was going on? Was he afraid Zhao Zheng would steal from him? Uncle Song, you flatter me. Haitang and I are old classmates. Now that we're in an unfamiliar place, we'll definitely help each other. Zhao Zheng hadn't figured out the specifics yet, so he could only say things that wouldn't make a mistake. Chairman Song looked at Zhao Zheng with a half-smile. Just then, Song Haitang suddenly spoke up. Dad, didn't you say you had something to do? Now that I've arrived at the school safely, since you have things to do, you can go ahead and take care of them. Hearing this, Chairman Song felt somewhat helpless, but he didn't dare disobey his daughter. Alright, then I'll be going. Before leaving, he patted Zhao Zheng's shoulder and said with a smile, Little Zhao. Remember what I said. If anything happens, just call me. After saying that, Chairman Song left. As soon as Chairman Song left, Zhao Zheng immediately relaxed. It has to be said, Song Haitang's father had a rather strong aura. He could actually create a sense of pressure. Zhao Zheng glanced at the business card in his hand, a slight look of surprise on his face. Because on the business card, Song's father's title was president of the Xia Kingdom Extraordinary Association, Luan Branch. Even a city-level branch president of the Extraordinary Association requires a strong person to hold that position. No wonder President Song had given him such a strong sense of pressure just now. However, Zhao Zheng still couldn't understand why President Song had subtly warned him. After all, he was the one who gave the precious flame fruit to Song Haitang, making him a great benefactor to the Song family. Although he was the one who truly benefited, no one else knew. Haitang, I feel like your father seems to have some issues with me, Zhao Zheng couldn't help but ask. Upon hearing this, Song Haitang's pretty face showed a slightly unnatural expression. Ever since she told her father that she wanted to be Zhao Zheng's teammate and help him safely pass the first 10 levels of the spirit realm, President Song had always believed that his daughter's heart had been stolen by this kid, Zhao Zheng. In President Song's eyes now, Zhao Zheng was just a yellow-haired guy trying to steal his daughter away. As a father with a daughter, especially since his daughter had grown up to be so beautiful, to Chairman Song, even the blonde-haired guy deserved to die. Don't worry about him, Song Haitang forcibly changed the subject, saying, Zhao Zheng, thank you for giving me the flame fruit. Zhao Zheng waved his hand, acting very generously. It's nothing, don't always keep it in mind. Actually, in truth, he should be the one feeling guilty towards Song Haitang. After all, he had ruined the girl's Kryptonian bloodline. Song Haitang was about to say something more. Suddenly, a tall and handsome young man walked over. Hello, are you new students here to register? The young man looked at the two of them and gave them a bright smile. I'm your senior, and also the person in charge of welcoming new students this year. This young man had sword-like eyebrows and bright eyes, and his features were very handsome. But what was most outstanding was the young man's physique, like a model, particularly standard, and he looked to have quite a bit of muscle. Zhao Zheng truthfully said, I came here the day before yesterday, but my classmate hasn't been entered into the file yet. Oh, the young man's gaze immediately turned to Song Haitang. The admiration in his eyes was hard to hide. He was actually quite busy, but he suddenly came over because Song Haitang was so beautiful. Just one glance was enough to make him lose his mind. Then, Junior, let me help you register first. Since he meant well, Song Haitang naturally had no reason to object, so she nodded. Junior, the computer is over there, come with me, the young man said. Song Haitang, however, looked at Zhao Zheng. Zhao Zheng, wait here for me a moment, I have something to tell you. Hearing this, the young man glanced at Zhao Zheng subtly. Oh, okay, seeing Zhao Zheng agree, Song Haitang followed the young man to register. After the two left, Zhao Zheng vaguely heard several students nearby discussing the young man. That sophomore is so handsome. Especially his physique. I really want to touch his abs. I know him. He was originally less than 1.7 meters tall, but he got the super soldier serum in the Holy Land, which is why he looks like this now. Also, Jing, don't be fooled by his appearance. This guy has a notorious reputation locally for being a womanizer. I heard he changed 17 girlfriends in a year. I've heard that too. The most amazing thing is that he was dating 3 women at the same time. I don't know if it's true or not. Hearing the students' discussion, Zhao Zheng looked at the young man. He wasn't interested in the young man's scandals. What interested him was that the young man's physique and appearance were due to the super soldier serum. Indeed, the super soldier serum could not only enhance the user's physique but also improve their appearance. No wonder the young man looked quite muscular. However, Superman's physique seemed even better. Zhao Zheng was very much looking forward to his future. At this moment, he noticed that after uploading Song Haitang's information, the young man took out his phone, seemingly wanting to add Song Haitang's contact information. The girl refused without hesitation. Truly worthy of being known as the Ice Queen by her high school classmates, she showed absolutely no respect. Then, ignoring the young man's embarrassed expression, Song Haitang walked directly towards Zhao Zheng. Chapter 18 Team up with me? What kind of class do you have? On their way to the dormitory, Song Haitang and Zhao Zheng walked side by side. Zhao Zheng, do you regret giving me the precious flame fruit? Hearing Song Haitang's question, Zhao Zheng replied without hesitation, what's there to regret? He certainly wouldn't regret it. Trading the flame fruit, which Shivan dogs wouldn't eat, for Superman's physique was a huge win. Only a fool would regret it. Luckily, these were just his thoughts, not spoken aloud, otherwise it would have been very impolite to Song Haitang. Hearing this, Song Haitang gave Zhao Zheng a deep look. Then why did you choose to fuse with Kryptonian blood? Is it really like they say, just for? The girl didn't finish her sentence, but Zhao Zheng knew. It was nothing more than what netizens called a super simp, not wanting his goddess to feel guilty, sacrificing himself for love. This question was a little difficult to answer. Zhao Zheng hesitated for a moment, then said, I always felt that Kryptonian blood is so rare, it must have some extraordinary qualities, so I wanted to try and find the secret of Kryptonian blood. Song Haitang certainly didn't believe this answer. The South Korean Kryptonian bloodline holder spent his entire life researching it, even with government assistance, and still couldn't uncover the secrets of the Kryptonian bloodline. Where did Zhao Zheng get his confidence? Besides, the flame fruit is incredibly powerful. It's a Logia-type devil fruit. Once he cultivates it to the point of elementalization, he'll be practically invincible unless he falls into the sea. Giving up a top-tier extraordinary opportunity to research a bloodline considered worthless? Who would believe that? Since you don't want to talk about it, I won't ask, Song Haitang continued. Zhao Zheng, have you considered what kind of situation you'll face if you fuse with a Kryptonian bloodline and enters Hanwoo University? Zhao Zheng laughed and said, so what if I can't find teammates? It's no big deal. The more nonchalant he seemed, the more Song Haitang believed that this boy was driven by a death wish. Zhao Zheng, don't be like this. Song Haitang couldn't help but persuade him. Extraordinary opportunities aren't only found in the Holy Land, there's a chance to obtain them in the spirit realm as well. You can definitely try your luck there. The two were completely on different wavelengths. However, this didn't diminish Zhao Zheng's interest in Song Haitang's words. Extraordinary opportunities in the spirit realm, yes. Although the number is very small, every year someone obtains an extraordinary opportunity in the spirit realm. She paused. Song Haitang continued, so, don't be discouraged, please try your best, okay? Zhao Zheng casually agreed. Seeing Zhao Zheng's absent-minded look, Song Haitang assumed he lacked confidence and said, don't worry about forming a team in the spirit realm, you have teammates. Song Haitang hadn't originally planned to reveal this information now, but seeing Zhao Zheng's distracted state, she was afraid he would give up, so she spoke up beforehand. This time, Zhao Zheng was a little surprised and finally looked at the girl seriously. Without even thinking, he knew that the teammate the girl was referring to was definitely her. Otherwise, who would want to team up with someone with useless talent? You want to team up with me? Yes, Song Haitang nodded, her expression calm. The flame fruit was originally yours. Since you gave it to me, I have an obligation to protect your safety. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng frowned. He admired the girl's kindness, but he had no interest in playing any team games. It was much more satisfying to conquer the spirit realm alone. As far as he knew, the early stages of the spirit realm weren't particularly difficult, even ordinary people had a certain chance of survival. With his strength a month from now, conquering the first level of the spirit realm wouldn't be a problem at all. He didn't need teammates at all. Besides, he needed to keep his Superman physique a secret for the time being, so he didn't want any teammates either. You're being ridiculous, Zhao Zheng scolded directly. What talent do I have? Team up with me? Aren't you afraid I'll screw you over? I don't agree, Song Haitang was dumbfounded. The tone Zhao Zheng used when he spoke to her just now was like her father, Chairman Song. No. Even more domineering than her father. No boy had ever spoken to her like that before. For a moment, Song Haitang stood there, stunned, not knowing what to say. To be honest, the girl's dazed look was quite cute, with a touch of natural charm. Haitang, I know you're kind-hearted, but there's no need for this. What I do is my own choice. Put aside your altruistic spirit and respect the fate of others. Zhao Zheng looked at the girl and said seriously, don't forget your vow to kill that monster king. From now on, you can't take a single wrong step, understand? Song Haitang was dumbfounded. She had come to persuade Zhao Zheng. How did she end up being persuaded by him? And even scolded? However, the girl was smart, and quickly thought of a rebuttal. But Zhao Zheng didn't give her a chance. We've arrived at the girls' dormitory. I can't go in. Go find your own dormitory. Settle in first, and we'll talk next time. He left with those words. Zhao Zheng turned and walked away, heading towards the boys' dormitory. This left Song Haitang completely bewildered. Watching Zhao Zheng's retreating figure, Song Haitang took a deep breath before dragging her suitcase, regaining her icy demeanor, and entering the girls' dormitory. Although she had been scolded by Zhao Zheng, she wasn't angry. Because in her view, Zhao Zheng's actions were entirely for her sake. The next morning, Zhao Zheng got up early but didn't go to the sunbathing experience center. Today was the first day of classes. He didn't want to be late for his first class, lest he leave a bad impression on the teacher. When he arrived at the teaching building, he found students standing at the entrance, drawing lots around a box. Zhao Zheng quickly understood what was happening. Class assignments were being conducted by lottery. There were 3 classes for freshmen, Class A, Class B, and Class C each year. Zhenwu University admitted exactly 300 students. Cramming all 300 into one class was definitely not feasible. Not only could the teachers not manage them, but even one classroom wouldn't be enough. A superhuman university only admitting 300 students, is that a bit few? It certainly is. Ordinary liberal arts universities admit thousands every year. Compared to that, superhuman universities are a fraction of that. This is mainly because the number of people who obtain superhuman opportunities is inherently small. After eliminating the majority of those with useless or worthless talents, the number of truly worthwhile superhuman freshmen is even smaller. Therefore, superhuman universities have a small number of teachers and students. Zhao Zheng also joined the lottery. When it was his turn, he drew B. Not very lucky. Because you already knew that at Zhenwu University, Class A was the elite class. It's said that the current lottery for class assignment is only temporary. A month later, the school will reassign classes based on students' talents and performance in the spiritual realm. Only those who perform exceptionally well and rank in the top 100 will be assigned to Class A. Once in Class A, they will receive intensive training from the school, with resources far exceeding those of the other 2 classes. Chapter 19 will give you a shock. Soon, the class assignments were completed by drawing lots. Everyone entered their respective classrooms according to their chosen lot. Each class had exactly 100 students. Once the students were seated, a middle-aged man entered the classroom. This man was tall and burly, with a fierce face, looking intimidating. He walked with a powerful stride, exuding an imposing aura. Good morning, students. My surname is Chu, and I am the head teacher of Class B. Before you are officially assigned to your classes, I will guide you on how to become stronger, Teacher Chu said, scanning the entire class. His gaze was piercing, and many timid students dared not meet his eyes, lowering their heads. Unexpectedly, this provoked a reprimand from Teacher Chu. Don't dare look at me. Why don't you dare look? Am I that scary? Do you know that the monsters in the spirit realm are 1,000 times, 10,000 times more terrifying than me? If you don't even have the courage to look at them, how can you talk about resisting and surviving? No one expected this teacher to start by scolding them. This intimidating approach was indeed effective. At least everyone understood that Teacher Chu was quite strict, and they immediately became serious. The students who had previously avoided eye contact now had no choice but to raise their heads. Teacher Chu then continued the lesson. Before we begin, I need to teach you the survival strategies of Zhenwu University. Have you all received your student cards? Raise your hands if you haven't. No one raised their hands. Even Zhao Zheng had already received his student card. Your student card is very important. Make sure you keep it safe, Teacher Chu said. Let's talk about the points on your student card. These points can be used to rent the training hall, and you can purchase weapons and equipment, including firearms, on the school's intranet. Furthermore, the school holds an internet auction every year, where you might even find extraordinary items. Hearing this, everyone's eyes lit up. They were actually auctioning off extraordinary items? Zhenwu University truly lived up to its reputation as a prestigious university. They were incredibly generous in motivating their students. Everyone's student card starts with a perfect 100 points. However, starting next month when classes are assigned, your points will change. The school will add points to your cards every month, based on your class. For example, students in Class A will receive 100 points each month, Class B 80, and Class C 60. To earn extra points, it depends on your performance in the spirit realm. The better you perform, the higher the point reward from the school. Through Teacher Chu's explanation, everyone realized just how important the points on their student cards were. The school's intranet is at the very bottom of the official website. Your login account is your student's ID number, and the initial password is 1 to 9. I suggest you change your password as soon as possible. While students' ID points are important, The most important thing is strength. In the world of extraordinary individuals, there is no room for cheating. Everything is based on strength. Only with great strength can you enjoy the resources that match your abilities. This is true not only in the extraordinary university but also when you enter society. Teacher Chu suddenly changed the subject. To enter society, the prerequisite is that you can survive in the spirit realm. Next, I will tell you about the basic rules of the spirit realm. First, you can team up in the spirit realm. In ordinary spirit realms, the maximum team size is 4 people, while in special spirit realms, the minimum team size is 10 people. Special spirit realms are relatively rare, so you don't need to worry about them for now. My personal suggestion is that you ideally form full teams of 4. The spirit realm is fraught with danger, and teamwork is crucial. Also, teaming up with others will not split your basic rewards, only extra rewards will be shared with your teammates. Don't worry too much about the extra rewards, those are for a select few geniuses. Only those with exceptionally high performance have a chance to receive them. One of your most important tasks next is to find trustworthy teammates before the spirit realm opens next month. Upon hearing this, everyone instinctively looked towards their classmates. Finding teammates among them was undoubtedly the most suitable option. They were all newcomers, and would all be entering the same level of the spirit realm soon. Their classmate relationship made them relatively reliable. Finding teammates isn't a simple matter. Besides being trustworthy and reliable, you also need to consider whether your talents and abilities are compatible. For example, Logia-type devil fruits. Everyone knows that while these devil fruit abilities are very powerful, before they fully master elementalization, they actually have a significant weakness. Their physical bodies aren't strong enough. Once an enemy gets close, it's extremely dangerous. Therefore, Logia-type devil fruit users should ideally find teammates who possess physical enhancement talents. This made a lot of sense. The students nodded in agreement. Teacher Chu continued, to help you find suitable teammates, everyone, please tell us about the talents and abilities you gained in the Holy Land. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng immediately felt a headache coming on. He knew this was inevitable. There was no escaping it. Anyone volunteering? Teacher Chu looked around the class and said, if not, then we'll go in order. As soon as he finished speaking, a student stood up and said, Teacher, I'll go first. Teacher Chu's eyes lit up with satisfaction. He liked bold students. Because in the spirit realm, boldness and meticulousness were essential. A lack of courage was often a fatal flaw. However, Teacher Chu's smile quickly vanished. The young man continued, my name is Zhao Zheng. I believe everyone remembers the news that was trending the other day. That's right, I'm the idiot who gave away the flame fruit and then fused with Kryptonian blood. The whole class erupted in commotion. Everyone stared at Zhao Zheng in astonishment, probably never expecting that the nationally famous super simp would become their classmate. Even more unexpectedly, this guy was so calm. During his self-introduction, he directly called himself an idiot, completely unconcerned about others' opinions. It seems the rumors online were true. This kid really is determined to die. But how did someone with his talent get into Zhenwu University? Even Teacher Chu looked at Zhao Zheng with astonishment. After speaking, Zhao Zheng simply sat down, acting as if nothing had happened. His thinking was simple, rather than passively being ridiculed later. He'd rather take the initiative and give his classmates a little shock. As for whether his classmates would dislike him and not want to team up with him? Sorry. Zhao Zheng hadn't even considered teaming up. Meanwhile, in the neighboring Class A, it was Song Haitang's turn to introduce herself. Chapter 20 Song Haitang, I want to take responsibility for him. My name is Song Haitang, from Luan City in this province. My innate ability is the Logia-type flame fruit. Upon hearing this, Class A erupted in an uproar. No one had expected that their class would have a Logia-type devil fruit user. Logia-type devil fruits are recognized as having immense potential, considered among the top-tier extraordinary opportunities in the Holy Land. As long as a solid foundation is laid and they don't falter along the way, they have a high chance of becoming top-tier powerhouses. Only the rarer mythical Zoan-type devil fruits and some powerful innate abilities can compare to Logia-type devil fruits. Logically speaking, a Logia-type devil fruit user could easily get into top universities like Peking University and Wuhan University. How did such a top-tier talent end up at Zhenwu University? Did Zhenwu University snatch them up? The teacher in charge of Class A was a woman in her 30s, with a well-maintained figure and skin. She wore a business suit and gold-rimmed glasses, exuding a mature and sophisticated aura. This teacher's surname was Shin. Teacher Shen looked at Song Haitang and asked curiously, Haitang, with such talent, why didn't you choose Jingwu University? This was a question all the students in the class wanted to know. Because my flame fruit was a gift from someone else, Song Haitang said calmly and truthfully. Since he gave me his best fruit, I have to be responsible for him. I wanted him to receive better educational resources, so I made a request to our school to be admitted together with him, and the school finally agreed. She was so honest because everyone would find out sooner or later. Rather than hiding it, it was better to say it directly to avoid causing trouble for Zhao Zheng. Yes. Song Haitang was thinking of Zhao Zheng. After all, Zhao Zheng's talent was so poor that entering Zhenwu University would inevitably raise suspicions. If someone reported it to the Ministry of Education, although it could be explained clearly, it would still cause trouble. After hearing Song Haitang's words, everyone in the class suddenly understood. Then they all remembered the big news that had shocked the whole country a few days ago. It turned out that the woman before them was the female lead, and she was indeed beautiful. Especially her eyes, clear and bright, like perfect gems. No wonder that Super Simp was willing to give her even the flame fruit. Teacher Shen looked at Song Haitang with great admiration. In her eyes, her student was not only talented, but also kind-hearted and of excellent character. She immediately smiled and said, Haitang, you are so loyal and righteous. If we could become teammates, you would definitely be very reliable. Upon hearing this, the surrounding students' eyes lit up. That's right, this girl was so loyal and righteous. If they could become teammates, at least she wouldn't betray them. Besides, she was a flame fruit user. Becoming her teammate was clearly a privilege. Many immediately began to think about how to become Song Haitang's teammate. Especially the boys, whose gazes towards Song Haitang became even more enthusiastic. Because Song Haitang was not only talented and of good character, but also so beautiful. There was a rumor that it was very easy to cultivate feelings in the spirit realm. Like those extraordinary individuals who pair up as male and female, over 70% end up sleeping together. In the spiritual realm, facing countless hardships and dangers, two people of the opposite sex experiencing these together over time inevitably develop special feelings. The thought of them becoming teammates with Song Haitang and eventually cultivating feelings, conquering such a beauty, is incredibly exciting. Thus, before the team game even started, the vast majority of the class had already set their sights on Song Haitang. As someone with experience, Teacher Shen only glanced at them and knew what the boys were thinking. She smiled calmly, looking at Song Haitang and said, Haitang, don't worry, with such talent, I certainly won't let it go to waste. I'll definitely find you the 3 best teammates. She was actively trying to find teammates for Song Haitang. It was clear that Teacher Shen truly thought highly of Song Haitang. Hearing Teacher Shen's words, Song Haitang replied, Teacher, I already have a teammate. She said this without the slightest hesitation. Everyone was stunned. Some astute individuals had already guessed who Song Haitang's teammate was. Teacher Shen frowned slightly and asked, Is it the Zhao Zheng? It seemed Teacher Shen had also followed the previous news and even knew Zhao Zheng's name. Song Haitang nodded, yes, although Zhao Zheng had scolded her yesterday for this, she hadn't changed her mind. She wanted Zhao Zheng to successfully pass the first 10 levels of the spirit realm and survive. Seeing Song Haitang's admission, Teacher Shen's frown deepened. Haitang, you should know very well that Zhao Zheng has fused with Kryptonian blood, making him almost indistinguishable from an ordinary person, Teacher Shen said. To put it bluntly, having him along is a burden and will bring you significant negative consequences. Although you possess excellent flame fruit talent, if your foundation isn't solid, your future growth will be severely limited. This wasn't Teacher Shen making empty threats to scare Song Haitang, it was the truth. A solid foundation meant achieving good results and becoming stronger in the early stages of the spirit realm, accumulating sufficient strength. Only in this way could a virtuous cycle be formed. Conversely, if one cannot achieve good results in the spirit realm from the beginning, resulting in slow growth in strength, then the later spirit realms will be very difficult to pass. This is because the higher the level of the spirit realm, the greater the difficulty and danger. Without sufficient strength, forget about passing the later spirit realms. Teacher, I understand everything you're saying. Song Haitang's calm face showed a hint of stubbornness. He gave me the most important flame fruit. I have to ensure his safety. So, I must take him with me. Anyone who wants to team up with me is welcome, but the prerequisite is that you agree to let me bring Zhao Zheng. The last sentence was clearly addressed to the students. Hearing this, Everyone looked at Song Haitang in surprise. Many who had originally listed Song Haitang as a target now had second thoughts. After all, bringing along a burden who would hold them back was far too dangerous. The spirit realm was not a game of make-believe. People could die. Looking at Song Haitang's stubbornness, Teacher Shen had a headache. We'll talk about this later. Haitang, please sit down. The students next to you, it's your turn to introduce yourself. Class B. The self-introductions were nearing their end. During the introductions, Zhao Zheng heard many familiar abilities and talents. Various paramecia and zoan-type devil fruits, as well as many mutant abilities, all quite impressive. Among the stronger ones were the paramecia-type strength fruit user, currently able to amplify their strength by 200%, the zoan-type cat fruit user in leopard form, possessing the agility of a cheetah from the start, and the mutant saber-tooth tiger bloodline, possessing sharp claws and a degree of regenerative ability. These individuals instantly attracted the attention of many classmates, becoming the class's darlings. Chapter 21. The Mysterious Spirit Realm. In the blink of an eye, a week had passed. During this week, Teacher Chu led everyone to the training hall for various training sessions every day. According to Teacher Chu, if a talent requires strong mental attributes to unleash, such as energy-based superpowers or Logia-type devil fruits, then they should train their mental abilities in the mental chamber. If their talent leaned towards strength or physique, they should go to physical training rooms, such as the gravity chamber, to train their physical abilities. For speed-related talents, training methods included sprinting, obstacle avoidance, and games like whack-a-mole, all of which could train neural reaction abilities. Zhao Zheng had been to each of these training halls once. The others were alright, but the mental chamber was simply not a place for humans. The mental chamber was specially designed. Not only was the building's shape extremely distorted, but the walls were also painted with many eerie, suggestive patterns, the kind that would make you dizzy after looking at them for a few moments. It was said that these patterns were things from the spirit realm, which humans had memorized and then redrawn. Staring at these patterns would rapidly deplete one's mental energy, causing dizziness and headaches. Over time, it might even damage the brain. However, if the viewing time is controlled and used to train mental strength, the effect will be excellent. It's far superior to the traditional, cumbersome methods, which consume energy. It must be said, human wisdom is boundless. The Holy Land has only existed for a little over 100 years, yet humanity has developed so many training devices, with targeted training methods for each basic attribute and innate ability. Of course, these training methods require individuals with innate abilities to achieve noticeable results and increase attributes. Ordinary people have limited potential and ceilings. No matter how much they train, they can never become extraordinary. That morning, Zhao Zheng went to class as usual. When the bell rang, Teacher Chu appeared in the classroom on time. A week has passed. How's your team finding going? Have you all assembled? Most raised their hands, indicating they had. A third of the students looked anxious. Zhao Zheng was naturally among this third, but he showed no sign of urgency. Teacher Chu was fairly satisfied with the students' progress and said, after finding teammates, it's best if you train with them from now on. Besides training your attributes, you also need to train your teamwork. In the spirit realm, when fighting monsters, tacit cooperation often yields miraculous results. The students nodded in agreement. After a week of getting to know them, everyone knew that Teacher Chu, despite his fierce appearance, was actually a warm-hearted person who is very responsible towards his students. At this moment, a student raised his hand and asked, "Teacher, it's been a week, why have you only taught us how to train and not about the spirit realm?" Hearing this, Teacher Chu asked in return, "What aspect of the spirit realm do you want to know?" The student said, "The knowledge about the first level of the spirit realm. For example, what do the monsters in the first level look like? What are their attack methods? And what are their weaknesses?" Teacher Chu shook his head. "I can't teach that, because the first level of the spirit realm is the amnesiac spirit realm." The amnesiac spirit realm, many students exclaimed in surprise. Some students remained calm, obviously knowing this information beforehand. Information regarding the spirit realm is strictly prohibited from being leaked by high-ranking officials in various countries. Only university students can access guides to the spirit realm. Artificial intelligence is highly advanced in this world. Anyone spreading information about the spirit realm online will be immediately detected, their account banned and deleted, and they will even be investigated. Of course, if it's shared privately among relatives, no one will pursue the matter unless reported. Those more composed students likely have elders or relatives who are extraordinary individuals. The higher-ups restrict the dissemination of information about the spirit realm simply to recruit talent. Once you're in university, your information, including your gains and cultivation progress in the spirit realm, will become transparent to them. If you demonstrate exceptional potential, people will naturally try to recruit you. Don't be alarmed, Teacher Chu said. There are many amnesiac spirit realms in the spirit realm, even in just the first 10 levels. The so-called amnesiac spirit realm refers to the fact that after a transcendent being successfully returned, they will forget everything that happened in the spirit realm. Simply put, your memories related to the first level of the spirit realm will be erased upon your return. Therefore, so far, no one knows what's in the first level of the spirit realm. Hearing this, a student immediately stood up and said, "Since memories can be erased, why not write down the relevant information from the spirit realm on paper? Or on your clothes? Would that allow you to bring the information back?" Teacher Chu smiled upon hearing this. This method has been thought of before. In fact, to obtain information from the first layer of the spirit realm, an experiment was conducted overseas. They had people enter the spirit realm and have information carved directly onto their skin, but it still didn't work, because, in the amnesia spirit realm, as long as you can come back alive, you will return exactly as you entered. Nothing will have changed. Even if you carve words on your skin or even self-harm, everything will be restored to normal when you come out. Even your torn clothes will be repaired. Don't think of the spirit realm as so simple. There are no loopholes for you to exploit. Hearing this, many students showed surprised expressions. Even Zhao Zheng was astonished. The amnesia spirit realm was really that magical? Would that be a perfect opportunity for him to show off his skills? Even if others saw him, it wouldn't matter. He'd just come out with amnesia. Thinking of this, Zhao Zheng smiled. "Oh, right," Teacher Chu added, as if remembering something. "Although the amnesiac spirit realm will erase all memories from within it, your kill records in the spirit realm can still be checked. So, when you come out of the spirit realm, don't lie about your rewards and gains just to get into Class A." These words brought smiles to the students' faces. Only Zhao Zheng's expression changed drastically. What the hell? The spirit realm can check your records? Is there no privacy left? Most importantly, he was planning to dominate the spirit realm and get the highest in extra rewards. Now that his records can be checked, how can he play? Anyone who sees his records will definitely suspect him. How could someone with such a useless talent get the highest reward in the spirit realm? It might even attract an investigation from someone with ulterior motives. You know, some people gain the ability to read minds in the Holy Land, and these people eventually entered special government departments. Then, wouldn't the secret of his Kryptonian bloodline be completely exposed? Alternatively, Zhao Zheng could simply forego the highest reward, enter the secret realm as a passive participant, and survive until the very end. This is indeed an option. However, Zhao Zheng is unwilling to give up a reward that is so easily attainable. The highest reward is one thing, it's just a generous amount of spiritual energy points. The extra rewards, however, have the chance to drop top-tier items. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22. You Train Me to Lie Flat. After class, while the students prepared to head to the training hall, Zhao Zheng was planning to slip away. He had been to the training hall and participated in training sessions over the past 7 days, but for some reason, possessing Kryptonian blood, no amount of training had any effect. Not a single attribute had increased. It has to be said, Kryptonian blood is quite peculiar. Only sunlight works on it. No wonder everyone thinks it's a useless talent. Since training was ineffective, Zhao Zheng naturally didn't want to make things harder for himself. Starting the day before yesterday, whenever his classmates went to training, he would sneak back to his dorm to sleep. However, this time, he was caught red-handed by old Chu. "Zhao Zheng. Everyone's going to train, where are you going?" Old Chu's voice attracted a lot of attention. Quote, Zhao Zheng had a headache, so he made an excuse, saying, "My stomach's not feeling well, I'm going to the toilet." Old Chu seemed very angry. He pulled Zhao Zheng aside and asked, "Zhao Zheng, are you planning to give up on yourself, huh?" Zhao Zheng didn't know what to say. Training was useless to him, a daily sunbath would be enough to boost his attributes, so why bother with all that hard work? Think of your parents, think of those who care about you. They certainly wouldn't want to see you so, is a difficult word to translate directly, but it implies a state of listlessness, apathy, and lack of motivation. Think of your parents, think of those who care about you. They certainly wouldn't want to see you so, is a difficult word to translate directly, but it implies a state of listlessness, apathy, and lack of motivation. Old Chu had already begun his educational mode with Zhao Zheng. If you train with everyone, even if your attributes don't increase, at least you'll learn some fighting techniques. The more skills you have, the more hope you'll have in the spirit realm. If you want to go home alive, work hard, do your best to improve yourself, understand? If you don't understand anything, just ask me. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng was quite moved. This old Chu, though cold on the outside, was warm on the inside, and cared deeply for every student. However, there were some secrets he couldn't tell old Chu for the time being. So he remained silent. Seeing Zhao Zheng's continued silence, a hint of disappointment flashed in old Chu's eyes, and he finally sighed. If you really want to give up on yourself, I won't stop you. With that, old Chu turned and left. The students were still waiting for him. Training the students wasn't just about hard work, it required professional guidance and assistance. Because overtraining or using the wrong methods can have negative effects. As the head instructor of Class B, old Chu's daily task is to guide the students to find suitable training methods. Watching old Chu leave with the students, Zhao Zheng thought for a moment but decided not to follow. It was better for old Chu to give up on him, it was best to leave him alone. Maybe I should just drop out, this thought crossed Zhao Zheng's mind. He didn't want to expose his secret yet, nor was he willing to give up the extremely high rewards in the spirit realm. However, dropping out was no small matter, and he was still considering it. Seeing that Zhao Zheng didn't catch up, old Chu could only sigh helplessly. Zhao Zheng himself had decided to give up, he was just a teacher. And there was no point in saying anything more. At this moment, a voice rang out from the side. Teacher Chu. Old Chu turned around upon hearing this and saw Teacher Shen from Class A leading the students on their way to the training hall. Teacher Shen, he quickly called out. Judging from old Chu's expression, he seemed to have some offer. Teacher Shen. Teacher Chu, what's wrong with that student? Why didn't he come with us? Teacher Shen was referring to Zhao Zheng, who was standing still. Old Chu sighed and said, that kid has given up on himself. Upon hearing this, Teacher Shen's heart skipped a beat, and she immediately asked, is his name Zhao Zheng? Yes, old Chu nodded, glancing at the students in Class A, and finally spotting the strikingly beautiful Song Haitang in the crowd. Speaking of which, my student's self-destructive behavior has quite a bit to do with your classmate Song Haitang. A week is enough time for many rumors to circulate on campus. It's no secret that the male and female protagonists of that nationally sensational incident have both become freshmen at Zhenwu University. Even online, many netizens know about it. Is that so? Teacher Shen smiled, not taking old Chu's words to heart. The two exchanged a few simple words before parting ways. On the other side, Zhao Zheng, seeing old Chu walk away, also left and headed out of the school. A little over an hour later, he emerged from the sunbathing experience center with a satisfied smile on his face. Many men on the street, seeing his appearance, looked into the center with surprise, then revealed puzzled expressions. Really? They have massage services here too? Maybe I'll try it next time. Zhao Zheng was unaware that his smile had already caused misunderstandings among passers-by. He hailed a driverless taxi on the roadside, and after getting in, he opened his attribute panel. Race, human. Constitution, 130. Spirit, 47. Strength, 130. Agility, 130. Talent, Kryptonian bloodline. Psionic points, 0. These were Zhao Zheng's current attributes. It had been 12 days since he obtained his super physique. To possess such incredibly high attributes in just 12 days was truly astounding. However, Zhao Zheng glanced at his phone's balance and frowned slightly. When he came to Zhenwu University, his parents had deposited 10,000 yuan into his account. Only 12 days had passed, and he had already spent 4,000 yuan. Of the 4,000 yuan, a few hundred yuan was spent on food in the cafeteria, and the remaining 3,000 yuan went entirely to the sunbathing experience center and daily travel expenses. He still needed to find a way to raise money. Ideally, he could just buy a sunbathing machine. Running back and forth like this every day was not only expensive but also troublesome. A moment later, The car stopped at the entrance of Zhenwu University. Zhao Zheng paid and got out. Just as he entered the gate, he bumped into an acquaintance. It was Song Haitang. The girl seemed to have deliberately waited for him. Haitang, what are you doing here? Zhao Zheng asked knowingly. The girl was direct. I was waiting for you. Oh? Did you need something? Zhao Zheng, I heard you're even skipping training. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng knew why the girl had come. He said somewhat helplessly, yes, he thought the girl might lecture him. Unexpectedly, Song Haitang simply said softly, I'm not here to persuade you. I hope you'll agree to team up with me to go to the spirit realm. She deeply regretted not accepting Zhao Zheng's flame fruit on the first place, believing that Zhao Zheng wouldn't have become so self-destructive. Zhao Zheng was taken aback, somewhat confused by this girl's thoughts. He was about to refuse again when a sudden idea struck him, changing his mind. You really want to team up with me? Aren't you afraid I'll screw you over? Zhao Zheng asked. Song Haitang nodded firmly, yes. Even if you screw me over, I'll do it willingly, it's something I owe you. Hearing this, Zhao Zheng immediately retorted, don't always feel like you owe me. Our exchange of extraordinary opportunities is entirely voluntary, we owe each other nothing. If you continue to hold on to this mindset, then forget about teaming up. This guy is cunning. His purpose in saying this was merely to define their exchange, preventing Song Haitang from causing him trouble later after learning about the power of the Kryptonian bloodline. Song Haitang hadn't thought that far ahead. Upon hearing that Zhao Zheng was willing to team up, the girl immediately agreed, saying, okay, we're even. Chapter 23 is finally here, the spirit realm. We can team up, Zhao Zheng said with a smile, but you have to listen to me. Song Haitang, wanting to make up for Zhao Zheng's loss, didn't want any further complications. So, she agreed to whatever Zhao Zheng said. Okay, whatever you say. First, regarding the team size, it's limited to just the two of us, Zhao Zheng asked with a smile. Can you agree? It wasn't that Zhao Zheng was unwilling to help other classmates. Rather, he had his own considerations. Furthermore, Zhao Zheng's goal was the extra reward. This reward was to be shared with teammates. 2 more people would reduce Zhao Zheng's gains. Hearing Zhao Zheng's words, a look of hesitation immediately appeared on Song Haitang's pretty face. However, she didn't hesitate for long before nodding in agreement. Okay, then it's just the two of us. Mainly, after she had said in class that she would definitely bring Zhao Zheng along, fewer people were willing to team up with her. Because everyone unanimously thought that Zhao Zheng was a huge burden. Although Song Haitang's flame fruit was powerful, that was for the future. Right now, the differences between everyone weren't that significant, and Song Haitang alone wouldn't be a great help. Therefore, after weighing the pros and cons, many people no longer considered Song Haitang as a potential teammate. The remaining boys willing to team up were almost all ulterior motives, plotting against Song Haitang herself. The girl felt that it was better to have no teammates at all. Alright, the team formation is settled then, Zhao Zheng said with a smile. His sudden agreement to Song Haitang's request was a spur-of-the-moment decision. Simply put, he wanted to use Song Haitang as his shield. Since the spirit realm could check everyone's performance, if he went alone and received an exceptionally high reward, it would definitely arouse suspicion. Bringing Song Haitang along would be different. After all, Song Haitang possessed the flame fruit, placing her in the realm of genius. A genius. Isn't it normal for her to perform exceptionally well? Even with a burden, she might still achieve godlike status. Then, as long as Zhao Zheng attributed all the credit to Song Haitang, he could continue to remain hidden and inconspicuous. As for fame, he could wait until he was invincible before seeking fame and fortune. Oh, right. Seeing Song Haitang about to leave, Zhao Zheng suddenly remembered something important. He asked, Haitang, do you have money? This question startled Song Haitang, but the girl still nodded honestly. Yes, her father was also a superhuman, and the president of the Superhuman Association, so her family's financial situation was definitely quite good. At least much better than Zhao Zheng's family. How much money do you have in your account right now? I don't know the exact amount. Before coming to school, my dad gave me a sum of money, and adding it to my New Year's money since I was little, it's probably over $1 million. Wow. Goodness. A little rich girl. Over $1 million isn't a huge amount, but it's still quite rare for a student to have it. It can only mean that this student's family is very well off. Could you lend me 500,000? Zhao Zheng asked, then said, don't worry, I'll write you an IOU, And I'll definitely pay you back, no need for an IOU, I trust you, Song Haitang said nonchalantly, then asked, is 500,000 enough? If not, I'll transfer you $1 million. Anyway, I don't need the money here. For Song Haitang, Zhao Zheng's willingness to ask her for money was a trivial matter. The value of a flame fruit is immeasurable, even in billions. What's $1 million? Besides, she wasn't lying. The money was just sitting in her bank account gathering dust, unused. Sure, Zhao Zheng was a little unaccustomed to the girl's generosity. This was the first time he'd encountered someone borrowing money like this. Suddenly, he felt that Song Haitang had many virtues. She was beautiful, kind-hearted, and generous. Most importantly, Song Haitang wasn't like those other little fairies who, despite not having a princess's life, had princess syndrome, believing that men should revolve around them. Apart from being a little stubborn, Song Haitang's personality was far superior to those little fairies. Thinking this, Zhao Zheng became even more satisfied with Song Haitang. She was practically the perfect shield candidate. Send me your bank account number. The girl didn't mince words. Once Zhao Zheng sent her his account number, she transferred the money immediately. Not long after, Zhao Zheng received a notification that $1 million yuan had arrived. With the money in hand, Zhao Zheng became very busy in the following days. He first spent over 400,000 yuan to buy a small apartment near the school, and then ordered a deluxe version of a sunbathing device, moving it into the apartment. It took him a full 10 days to get all this done. The main reason was that the paperwork for buying the apartment and ordering the sunbathing device both required time. Initially, Zhao Zheng had considered simply placing the sunbathing device in his school dormitory. However, he immediately rejected this idea because it would be too troublesome. The deluxe version of the sunbathing device was simply too large, comparable to a bed. Such a large item would be difficult to move into the dormitory and would be very conspicuous. Moreover, the deluxe version of the sunbathing device consumed a lot of electricity. Zhao Zheng didn't want to be constantly questioned by the dorm supervisor about electricity bills. Moving out would be much more convenient. After all, the school didn't prohibit students from living off campus. In fact, many students with the means bought apartments nearby and lived off campus. This made it easier for them to satisfy their desires. The monthly trip to the spirit realm, teetering on the edge of life and death, created unimaginable pressure. Without an outlet, one's mental state could easily deteriorate. It wasn't appropriate to mess around on campus. Off campus, no one would care. Time. It was the last day of May morning. Zhao Zheng woke up in the sunbathing device. Since buying it, he'd simply used it as a bed, sleeping in it every day. Although sunbathing didn't increase his attributes, it kept his body in excellent condition. The first thing he did upon waking was check his attributes: race, human. Constitution, 290. Spirit, 95. Strength, 290. Agility, 290. Talent, Kryptonian bloodline. Psychic points, 0. Explosive attributes. As a newcomer who hasn't even entered the spirit realm yet, his attributes are absolutely outstanding. Superman's physique is truly amazing. He's entering the spirit realm tomorrow. And he'll get another attribute boost tomorrow. By then, Zhao Zheng will have 3 attributes exceeding 300. If there aren't any powerful monsters in the first level of the spirit realm, don't blame him for going berserk. After washing up and having breakfast downstairs, Zhao Zheng headed towards school. He arrived at his classroom just in time. The bell rang. Then, Old Chu followed closely behind, entering the classroom. Tomorrow is the day you enter the first level of the spirit realm, so after class today, don't go to training. Take a good rest. Recharge your energy so you can enter the spirit realm in the best possible condition. Hearing that they could rest, no one showed any joy. Instead, many looked tense. Just thinking about entering the spirit realm tomorrow and facing a life or death test made it impossible for anyone to relax. Old Chu, his expression serious, asked, "Have you all found your teammates?" The students nodded in unison. Then, instinctively, everyone turned to look at Zhao Zheng. Chapter 24: The Final Preparations. Why was everyone looking at Zhao Zheng? Because they were all curious whether Zhao Zheng could find teammates. Even if he did, which unlucky guy would be willing to team up with him? Seeing everyone's gaze, Old Chu on the podium was also concerned about Zhao Zheng's situation. After pondering for a moment, he finally spoke. "Zhao Zheng, do you have teammates? If not, I know some teachers at the academy. Do you want me to ask around for you? The academy isn't a university. It's more like a vocational college. Students admitted to the academy are generally less talented. Old Chu wasn't trying to humiliate Zhao Zheng. After all, Zhao Zheng's talent was undeniable. He genuinely wanted to help Zhao Zheng. No need, teacher, Zhao Zheng smiled. I've already found teammates. Oh? Who are your teammates? Old Chu asked curiously. Zhao Zheng didn't want to complicate things further, so he said, it's a secret for now. Everyone will find out tomorrow. Old Chu thought the kid was lying. But since Zhao Zheng had already refused his offer, he didn't want to waste any more words. Next, let's summarize your training results this month. Old Chu took out a tablet and looked at the first student on his right, saying, Li Wei, you start. Tell us about your training gains this month. The girl named Li Wei immediately stood up and said, this month, I gained a total of 5 points in Constitution, 2 points in Spirit, and 6 points in Strength, increasing my total attribute by 13 points. Hearing this, many students showed envious expressions. Old Chu nodded repeatedly, his expression satisfied. Not bad. Sit down. He operated the tablet for a while, recording Li Wei's growth data in her student file, and then looked at the next student. Sitting next to Li Wei was a tall, burly boy. This person was quite famous among the freshmen because of his extraordinary opportunity, a rather outstanding talent, the mutant saber-tooth bloodline. Zhang Chenggang, what about you? Zhang Chenggang immediately stood up and announced a series of astonishing numbers. This month, I gained a total of 16 points in Constitution, 14 points in Strength, and 3 points in Agility. My total attributes increased by 33 points. Upon hearing this, a series of exclamations erupted around him. Even Old Chu's eyes lit up. Good, Old Chu couldn't help but cheer. He quickly recorded Zhang Chenggang's growth data in his student file. Then, looking at Zhang Chenggang with admiration, he encouraged him, Zhang Chenggang, do your best in the spirit realm. I have high hopes for your future. Hearing this, Zhang Chenggang gave a simple, honest smile before sitting down. The surrounding students looked at him with envy. Next, one student after another reported their attribute increases, some mediocre, some outstanding. The least impressive increase was over 10 points in total attributes per month. The most impressive increase was 20 or 30 points. However, after collecting growth data from over 60 students, the student with the largest increase was still Zhang Chenggang. A total of 33 points in attributes in 1 month. Just enough for Zhao Zheng's daily growth. Teacher, how much do true geniuses gain in attributes in a month? A student couldn't help but ask. Old Chu smiled and replied, generally speaking, the better the talent, the more attribute points one can gain through training. For example, those Logia-type devil fruit users, if they train hard, can gain 50 or 60 points in total attributes in a month. Hearing this, many students exclaimed in amazement. Even just a dozen or so points of attribute increase made them feel much stronger. They simply couldn't imagine what it would be like to gain 50 or 60 points of attributes in a month. Then, as if realizing something, everyone looked at Zhao Zheng. This big idiot gave away the flame fruit he had just obtained. These simps are truly incomprehensible. Old Chu realized he'd misspoke and quickly changed the subject, saying, currently, the record for the highest attribute growth in the first month among all humans in the world is held by the renowned Indian powerhouse Samir Khan. He possesses the powerful Hulk bloodline, and after acquiring extraordinary talent, he gained a total of 97 attribute points in his first month through diligent training. This record remains unbroken, 97 total attribute points. Upon hearing this number, all the students in the class widened their eyes, their faces filled with shock. Except for Zhao Zheng. At this moment, Zhao Zheng looked at the nearly 1,000 total attribute panel in his left eye, feeling quite pleased with himself. What a record. It's just enough for 1/10 of his superhuman physique is truly amazing. For extraordinary individuals, talent is important, but performance in the spirit realm is even more crucial. Old Chu, seemingly afraid of discouraging the students, immediately added, to truly become stronger quickly, you still need to rely on the rewards of the spirit realm. If you perform exceptionally well in the spirit realm, catching up with those exceptionally talented individuals is not impossible. Meanwhile, in the neighboring class A, Teacher Shen called on Song Haitang's name. Haitang, how many attributes did you gain this month? Under the expectant gazes of everyone, Song Haitang stood up and truthfully replied, a total of 7 points in Constitution, 49 points in Spirit, 2 points in Strength, and 3 points in agility. Although she didn't say the total attribute points, the students easily calculated it in their minds. Song Haitang's total attributes increased by 61 points. Upon hearing this number, many students immediately gasped, looking at Song Haitang in astonishment. Even Teacher Shen was somewhat surprised by Song Haitang's growth and was extremely satisfied. Good. Haitang, as long as you don't go down the wrong path, you will definitely have a place among the top experts in the future. This evaluation was already very high. Hearing this, the other students looked at Song Haitang with envy. Song Haitang herself, however, calmly sat down, her pretty face showing no emotion. That was just her nature. At this moment, suddenly, Teacher Shen said, Haitang, I can't just stand by and watch you make a mistake. I know you've rejected all the team invitations from the class. Can you tell me who you're planning to team up with? Is it Zhao Zheng from Class B? Teacher Shen had asked this question before. However, Song Haitang hadn't answered directly, using secrecy as an excuse. Now, Teacher Shen was asking again, specifically mentioning Zhao Zheng's name, clearly because Song Haitang's improved grades had made her uneasy. Song Haitang was her student. She didn't want to see such a talented student ruin her future by teaming up with a useless person because of a moment of impulsiveness. Teacher Shen's questioning was pressing. Song Haitang remained calm and said, Teacher, I remember Article 27 of this Hanwoo University's rules states that teachers cannot interfere with students' freedom to form teams. Upon hearing this, Teacher Shen was speechless. Song Haitang continued, Teacher, I know you care about me, but there are some things I must do, otherwise, I won't be able to eat or sleep peacefully. This was a tacit admission that her teammate was Zhao Zheng. Chapter 25, Head-to-Head, Tensions Rise. Ms. Shen was in a very difficult situation. She was extremely satisfied with Song Haitang, a student whose talent and hard work both impressed her greatly. However, Song Haitang was just too stubborn. Once she made up her mind, nothing could change it. Hearing that Song Haitang was determined to team up with Zhao Zheng, she finally gave in. However, Ms. Shen still had some questions. She asked, Haitang, even if you want to team up with Zhao Zheng, why did you refuse all the other students? A team can only have 4 spots. Besides you and Zhao Zheng, what about the other 2 spots? Did you give them to students from other classes? This question left Song Haitang somewhat at a loss for words. In the end, she truthfully replied, Zhao Zheng is the captain. He has the right to form teams. I don't know who he wants to team up with. Upon hearing this, everyone showed expressions of disbelief. Holy crap! That Zhao Zheng is clearly a useless talent. How can he be the captain? And how can he make Song Haitang so obedient, willingly becoming a team member? It's simply the opposite of heaven. Between the two of them, who is the real simp? Even Teacher Shen was visibly surprised, somewhat unable to understand Song Haitang's behavior. Since class was in session, she couldn't waste the other students' time, so she said, Haitang, come to my office after class, Class B. After the last student finished reporting, the statistics on the student's attribute growth came to an end. Actually, it wasn't quite over, because one person was missed. Zhao Zheng. However, Old Chu deliberately omitted Zhao Zheng. In his view, Zhao Zheng hadn't even participated in training, so what attribute growth could he possibly have? Asking him would only embarrass the kid and make him lose face. Old Chu didn't like doing things that would humiliate students, so he deliberately omitted Zhao Zheng. And Zhao Zheng himself was very satisfied that Old Chu had omitted him. If you really asked him, he could only lie. Because he was afraid that revealing his attributes would scare everyone to death. No. More likely, everyone thought he was crazy and didn't believe him at all. Overall, I'm quite satisfied with your performance this month. However, my satisfaction alone isn't enough. The real test awaits you is the spirit realm. Tomorrow is June 1st, the opening day of the spirit realm. You will embark on your first journey to the spirit realm. Your teacher wishes you all successful start and a fruitful return. The first of every month is the opening day of the spirit realm. Old Chu, having said this, suddenly began calling out everyone's names. Li Wei, Zhang Changgang, Yang Xiaomai. He read out the names of all 100 students in the class, including Zhao Zheng. After finishing in one breath, Old Chu continued, everyone whose name I called, come back safely tomorrow, not one less. Do you understand? Old Chu shouted the last sentence in a deep voice. The hundreds of students immediately responded in unison. Understood. This shout changed the atmosphere in the classroom. Many of the more sentimental students immediately shed tears. Old Chu didn't stop them. His gaze swept over everyone's faces, as if trying to memorize each student's features, before he said, "Meet at the school playground before 11 a.m. tomorrow to end class." With that, Old Chu grabbed his things and turned to leave the classroom. The students remained silent, then followed suit, gathering in small groups with their teammates to discuss tomorrow's trip to the spirit realm. Zhao Zheng was now completely alone. No one paid him any attention. But he didn't care. Because of his absence from training, he already seemed somewhat out of place in the class. Zhao Zheng didn't linger. Shortly after Old Chu left, he left the school and returned to his apartment to take a nap. In the afternoon, Old Chu, having just finished lunch, was sitting in his office reviewing the students' statistics. Suddenly, there was a knock on the office door. Old Chu stood up to open it, and a look of surprise crossed his face when he saw Teacher Shen standing there. "Teacher Shen? What brings you here?" Teacher Shen smiled and said, "I have something I'd like to discuss with you, Teacher Chu." Hearing this, Old Chu quickly stepped aside. "Please come in, Teacher Shen." After Teacher Shen entered the office, Old Chu didn't close the door. Instead, he left it completely open. This showed that Old Chu was a meticulous person. If he closed the door, a man and a woman alone in a room, even for normal work-related conversation, could easily lead to rumors. Teacher Shen was pleased with Old Chu's thoughtful gesture. "Teacher Shen, would you like something to drink? I have tea and water here." Old Chu was very polite. He knew very well how capable this woman was, otherwise, she wouldn't have defeated him and become the head teacher of Class A. "No need to trouble yourself, Teacher Chu. I'll just say a few words and then leave," Teacher Shen said. "Oh." Old Chu then sat down opposite Teacher Shen. "I wonder what Teacher Shen wants to talk about? I'm all ears." "What I want to talk about is that student in your class named Zhao Zheng." Mentioning Zhao Zheng, Teacher Shen's expression changed. "Zhao Zheng?" Old Chu asked. "What happened to him?" Teacher Shen said irritably. "He lured away the most talented student in my class." Old Chu was stunned. Then, Teacher Shen roughly recounted what had happened. "Teacher Chu, do you know how many attributes Song Haitang has achieved this month? A full 61 points. And that's before she even completed her full month of training. How can such a genius be wasted by a good-for-nothing like Zhao Zheng?" "Teacher Chu, you've been teaching for many years, you should know very well how much potential Haitang has. It would be such a pity if such a genius went down the wrong path and it affected her future." Hearing Teacher Shen's long-winded explanation, Old Chu frowned. He already understood why Teacher Shen had come to see him. However, he still asked, "Teacher Shen, what do you mean?" "I think that as teachers, we should prevent this from happening," Teacher Shen said righteously. "So I hope that Teacher Chu, you can cooperate with me to stop Haitang and Zhao Zheng from teaming up. I'll persuade my student Haitang, and you can handle your student Zhao Zheng." Actually, if she could persuade Song Haitang, she wouldn't need to come to Old Chu. It was because Song Haitang was too stubborn. She had been trying to persuade her for hours without success, and out of desperation, she came to Old Chu's office. Old Chu rejected Teacher Shen's suggestion without hesitation. "Teacher Shen, I understand your thinking, but our school has rules, and teachers can't interfere with students forming teams. So, I'm afraid I can't fulfill your request." As Zhao Zheng's teacher, he naturally had to consider things from Zhao Zheng's perspective. He had been troubled by Zhao Zheng's team-up issue before, but now that a genius was willing to mentor Zhao Zheng, it was definitely a good thing for Old Chu. "Oh? Is that so?" Seeing that Old Chu was unwilling to cooperate, Teacher Shen immediately narrowed her eyes, exuding a dangerous aura. Old Chu took a deep breath, then looked at her with a firm expression, refusing to back down. The atmosphere in the office instantly became tense. A moment later, Teacher Shen suddenly withdrew her imposing aura, a smile appearing on her face, and she became amiable again. She stood up. "In that case, I'll take my leave. Take care, Teacher Shen." Old Chu stood up to see her off. He knew very well that this time, he had offended this dangerous woman. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.